Here we go. Ryan Armani's not in today, so I had to do the Ryan Armani. Shout out to Ryan. Hope everything's going good. We miss you, buddy, but guess what? We got my main man, Stick, filling in. It's going to be a great show. Stick, you take it from here, sir.
All right, I'll do my best, Ryan Armani. And here we go.
How'd that go? There it is.
Yeah, well,
that's good.
I know Alex Mayer is already fired up because Michigan State just won on a last-second alley-oop to beat Loyola Chicago.
Let's go. Take us through it, Alex. Go ahead, man.
How can they do that to Sister Jean?
Yeah, she had it coming, man. She's got to box out better. She's got to learn how to box out.
Shout out to Sister Jean Loyola. My Ryan went to Loyola where she
Sorry,
played
Ryan.
basketball, so sorry about that. But anyway, go green.
Yeah, well, go green won. The Spartans won going into Turkey Day. And then yesterday we had our big turkey games, which we were promoting for a couple weeks here on Woodward Sports, where, you know, it's kind of like Squid Games. You had to come out, compete, and two gentlemen wound up being the finalists. And they will get, one of them got front row tickets to the Lions game tomorrow for winning the turkey games. Alex, you got that video?
Let's
check it out, how it went down.
It is Joey from Woodward Sports, live from Meyer in Royal Oak, and we are here with our two finalists for the Woodward Sports Turkey Games. Let the games begin.
We out here, gobble, gobble.
Gobble, gobble.
You must accurately and precisely cut out the shape provided to you with the pin, or you can use your hand to break it. They both broke. They both broke. Now we got to play paper, rock, scissors to see who's going to sit front row.
This one right here is the winner. Front row, Lions tickets, Thanksgiving.
All right, we'll go with it. Ready? Rock, paper, scissors, shoot.
The first ever Woodward Sports Turkey Games winner. How does it feel?
Man, I feel ridiculous in this costume, bro. I'm sure. Let's be honest here.
When he gets a turkey.
Happy Thanksgiving, and thank you for watching.
So that was fun. Braylon, you called it paper for the win.
I'm gonna tell you like this: paper wins the majority of the time. The odds, I don't know the odds for sure, but I'm telling you, whenever I play this game, paper tend to win more than any of the other two.
They have like a world championship for paper, rock, scissors
they do.
in Toronto. It's
and we
crazy
talked
to me.
about high school
Canada.
football.
Yep.
Of course it will be Canada, the place that created axe throwing. But also, you know, we talked about high school sports. High school football is now going to rock, paper, scissors in some spots already. I want to say Pennsylvania has some of it as well as down south in Texas.
Instead of a coin toss?
Yeah.
Oh.
Like legitly.
Yeah, that's actually a real thing.
It's a real thing.
The South has some weird laws. Like I remember a couple years ago in Arizona, a mayoral election was going on, and they couldn't find the winner. And like due to their laws from like 1804,
the runner-up
it was
won?
a game of chance. So it could be paper, rock, scissors. It could be high card draw, and then they went with high card, and that's how they decided who was the mayor in this Arizona town was high card. Isn't that awesome?
That's
America,
beautiful.
baby.
That's beautiful. Why didn't they play Casino War instead?
Right.
Ooh, that would be interesting. And I've heard of, you know, high school football down there in Texas, how they do the coin toss to decide who wins if they're tied at the end of the season.
I'd hate
they
that.
do a coin toss. Obviously, shout out to Friday Night Lights in Permian, but.
Roy Williams.
But, there you go. But so he was actually on the other sideline in the movie. He was coaching against Permian.
What would Bettis call on that coin?
What would
Jerome Bettis?
What would the ref hear,
whatever
though?
he called, it would be a loss.
Yes. No, he called tails.
He called tails.
Heads is the call. No, I said tails.
What a great. That was probably the last time a call went the Lions' way.
Thanksgiving '98.
Yep.
This is true.
It's only been 13 years. That's
And
all right.
again, another
23
rule
years.
changed
Wow.
because of
Because of
Lions.
Lions.
Yeah.
Another rule.
Go Lions. Well, you guys witnessed it last night. The college football rankings came out, not the coaches poll, the real poll that actually
real
matters.
deal.
And they have what I was shocked at: Cincinnati in the top 4. I didn't think they'd had the cojones to do it.
They did.
Maz, you called this. Tell me why you said Cincinnati and why they got it right this time, Maz.
They got it right. First of all, Ohio State had to jump Alabama. Alabama with a lackluster win. Ohio State with a dominating win, embarrassed Michigan State. They had to be number 2. Matter of fact, Georgia and Ohio State, if the season stopped now, that's for sure the playoff championship game. But we got another week to go. As far as Cincinnati goes, they did everything they could possibly do. They have run the table. Now they just got to win their championship of their league. That's all they got to do. They got to beat Houston. They're undefeated. They had to jump. Of course, Oregon fell out of there.
Right.
Michigan didn't do enough yet to get in there. They beat an unranked Maryland team. Notre Dame is getting some late play. I don't think they had they couldn't jump in because Cincinnati beat them at Notre Dame and beat them handily.
Right.
I think they got it perfectly right this time.
Yeah, I think they got it right, too. You know, you put Cincinnati in the 4th spot. You have Michigan trailing behind at 5, Ohio State's at 2. And you figure 5 and 2 are going to take care of themselves.
Yeah.
So you put them there. Cincinnati, if they're really meant to be there, they'll last the test of time. They have to play against Houston at the end of the year in the conference championship for them. So I think they had a good night. And I think by them jumping Alabama with Ohio State, that gave them a lot of validity. Now when you watch this, people are able to say, you know what, this college committee, they get it. They're actually they're paying attention to the eye test. You look at a Michigan State that was ranked in the top 4, they get waxed by Ohio State. And so by right, Ohio State jumps Alabama and moves into the 2 spot. Good job by them. They got it right last night.
Oklahoma State is the dark horse here.
They're
I like
lurking.
They can still make a late run. Notre Dame screws themselves by not being in a conference. You want to make all that money on NBC? You're an independent. Now you got to take your gravy. This is it.
Yeah,
take your medicine.
They don't have the regular season schedule.
Nope.
And then the team that did play them beat them, so that it really takes that away. I would have loved to see Michigan at number 4, if only for 1 week.
Yeah.
Because, I'm all about, they want to make money in the NCAA, right? So you have essentially a playoff game happening this Saturday that you could hype it up as. I thought that's the route that they were going to go. And plus, now that Cincinnati's there, it's going to be tough to drop them out.
Yes.
It's one of those things. If they were still sitting around 5, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal that they didn't end up making it.
Yeah.
But now that they're in, it's going to be damn near impossible to take them out because they're not going to lose.
Unless Houston gives them a hard time. Then there's your out.
Yeah, Houston gives them a hard time. There could potentially be your out. But you know what I also think happened last night is people have been giving this college committee flack. And obviously it
Right.
changes every year in terms of who's on it. Kind of Leader Rice was on the first year of it. That was interesting. But what they've been complaining every year in terms of teams of the non-Power 5, the group of 5.
Right.
They've been complaining about those teams that have those good records that don't get put into the top 4, that don't really get consideration. And then you look at a year with Central Florida in 2018 or 17, where they went undefeated and they didn't get put in. They got overlooked.
They hung the banner, though.
They darn sure hung that banner and the billboard on the side of the freeway down there in Florida. But also with Cincinnati, they were undefeated last year. They had a walk-off against Georgia. That's how they lost last year. And so you look at last year and this year, they're undefeated once again. They're up there. They said, you know what? We got to put Cincinnati in there because too many people that are cheering for Cincinnati or teams like Cincinnati that have a legitimate point, like Maz, you got to put them in there and see how it plays out.
Yeah, I just hate the fact that it's kind of a scary precedent to set, though,
Right.
because now any non-Power 5 conference team that does like what Cincinnati's doing, you kind of now have to put them in there by default because you've done it in the past. So you're setting yourself up to in the future of one of these smaller schools actually making it in that probably shouldn't because Cincinnati deserved to.
I think, you're absolutely right. But I think also with Cincinnati, they're looking at it from a standpoint. Last year they went undefeated, and then they lost to a Georgia in a walk-off. So that added some validity to that team. Luke Fickell and what he's done down there with Cincinnati. Cincinnati's been floating around for years. Like, remember the game like Cincinnati, the year they played Tebow, when Florida played Tebow. Cincinnati was really good that season. So now, last year they undefeated, they lose to Georgia in the walk-off. This year they're undefeated again with a win against Notre Dame.
That's huge.
At Notre Dame.
Yes.
So that's something that the committee could not overlook. You start adding all these things together, people complaining, win against Notre Dame, undefeated last year, walk off against Georgia. You start adding that up and you're like, we deserve to give them that 4th spot, because it still can play out. They have to play Houston. Michigan has to play Ohio State. You don't know what they're going to do with Alabama if Alabama loses a close one. So it's still
UTSA's undefeated. When do they get their shot, baby?
Roadrunners, baby. Meet Roadrunners.
do that
Now,
again,
Stick,
Maz.
I know how Braylon feels, so I'll ask you.
Okay.
Don't you like the college basketball field of 64 March Madness?
I love March Madness.
Okay, so why don't you like Cincinnati getting a chance to get into big boys? You get Davidson got into Final Four. You got Sister Jean and those guys and the Ramblers getting up there. Why don't you want a team like them led by Luke Fickell, who's the real deal?
Right.
He's the real deal, and they beat Notre Dame. That's their big win this year. It's not their fault they're in the American whatever the hell conference they're in. It's not their fault.
So my response to that is, whenever one of these teams do get to play with the big boys, what happens?
Smash.
They get
Okay,
smashed.
how about Notre Dame?
Like,
They've been getting smashed.
Valpo can beat Michigan State on a random hot night. You know, like what
Right.
happened to Georgetown, that great Georgetown team back
Lost
in the
to
day.
Marquette. Yeah, they had a
It can
couple of
happen on a random night. Football's different, man. It's a week-by-week game, so you have more time between games. And not only that, like to me, football, you look at a team and you're like, there's no way Georgia would ever lose to UTSA, no matter however they played.
Right.
And so for football, it's more of a definite on where these teams are tiered-wise. Basketball, one hot shooter can carry. You look at Dwayne Wade at Marquette. He took that whole team to the Final Four. Look at Carmelo at Syracuse. He took the whole team to the national championship.
Yeah.
They didn't really have a ton of support.
Yeah, they had the Big East.
Hakeem
They played
Ward.
hard.
And then another side of that, an interesting thing that I just thought of as you guys were talking is when you look at the college football playoff in terms of trying to extend them to 64 or extend them more.
16.
Okay, versus what basketball does. Basketball has a ranking system, right? And it has, you have your regions. There's always a 1, there's always a 16.
Right.
One has to play 16, right? What happens? With the exception of one time, and I believe it was
University of Maryland,
It was-
Baltimore.
that
Coast.
one, and then I think Michigan State was the one seed that lost. Or
No.
it was
Only one?
Virginia. No, Virginia.
Virginia's the only team that
Virginia,
lost to you.
exactly.
Whatever.
So
Baltimore.
2 years ago?
That was
Baltimore,
like 2-3
Coast,
years ago,
whatever the
and,
hell it
and they
was.
made up for it. They came back and won the national championship the following year.
They were the Retrievers. I know that was their nickname.
It was
But
great. Their
with-
social media team was on fire
Yeah,
that
they
year,
were.
by the
They
way.
were great. I got a shirt.
But
I
with-
got a T-shirt at home.
But with that being said, you're talking about how many years of the NCAA tournament? 70, 80 years NCAA tournament. One time,
Right.
A 16 has beat a 1. That's the same thing with the college football playoffs. So the first round, it's the same thing. Why do I want to put money on a 16, or why do I want to watch a 16 seed essentially play a 1 seed? I don't want to watch Georgia and Cincinnati. I don't want to watch Bama and
That's why
Central-
you give buys out.
and Central Florida.
Give the one a buy.
Okay, but it's still the second round. Now I'm watching a 16 team, a seed is snuck in, and now they're playing against the
And
the
to
2
me,
seed.
no matter how big you make this, there's always going to be somebody that complains. Like, look,
Yeah.
they were complaining because the third team was left out of the top 2, didn't get to play for the national. Okay, well, let's make it 4. Well, now it's the 5th team. Okay, well, let's
Right.
make it 16. Well, now it's going to be the 17th team that's like, well, wait, I'm Tulsa, and then we have the same record, and it's going to be so much harder to.
It's okay.
I would love to
I
see
like
if
it.
Division 2 can do it. I think Division 1
Absolutely.
can do it.
It won't change until you create 2 national champs. Like, and I know that sounds preposterous and that sounds ludicrous, but that's the only way to make it right. Where you just finally tell the group of 5, you guys have no shot in our national championship. But for you guys, we will give you another shot. We will give you your own national championship, create some sponsorship, put it on ESPN.
Not the same.
Same thing. I understand that, but it's not the same watching on January 9th.
Right.
I'm watching Alabama play Cincinnati. I'm not waking up to watch Alabama play Cincinnati on January 9th.
Well, since he's going to have to earn their way there, man.
This is true. They've given the shot. Like, all we're doing is arguing now. They're in the driver's seat to what they want to do. So you complain. You not necessarily complain. You guys lobby. You guys complain. Now here you are. What are you going to do?
Yep. Well, we'll find out. I mean, there's still a couple games left in the regular season to play, and
That's great.
if they win out, they're in. It's going to be tough to boot them out if they win out. And we got a big game coming up tomorrow right here in Detroit, and we're going to talk about that next. The big quarterback matchup
sir.
going on in the Motor City right here on Woodward Sports. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Armani. That is Braylon Edwards, and this is The Bottom Line.
Yes, sir.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey, everybody, it's Maz for our studio sponsors, my place to bet my sports teams. It's mybookie.ag, mybookie.com. Don't forget, use that promo code Woodward for you first-timers because you're going to get your deposit doubled. The first time you put your money in, you can go all the way up to $1,000. They will match you dollar for dollar. That is your money. How about this for a promotion for Thanksgiving Day? Turkey Day at MyBookie, they're going to give you something to be thankful for. How about a free $250 risk-free bet? Thursday afternoon, that's tomorrow, when the Cowboys take on the Raiders in Dallas or in Arlington. The spread between the Raiders and the Cowboys, you have to bet that spread. Right now, it's sitting at 9. So if you win your bet. Be happy. If you lose, my bookie will refund you up to $250. So if you pick the wrong team and you bet up to $250, you get your money back. That is a guarantee, no risk, all gravy. Use that promo code Woodward, folks. Get your first deposit doubled up to $1,000. Bet anything, anytime, anywhere with my bookie. If you have a problem gambling, please call the Michigan Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Welcome back to the bottom line. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Armani, up here with Braylon Edwards. And Maz, you mentioned the word gravy, and all I'm thinking about is tomorrow and Thanksgiving.
You're a gravy man, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I love gravy.
Let's talk about it. Like, what are we looking forward to in terms of the actual meal side of Thanksgiving? Not football, but the actual meal.
It's my least favorite holiday meal.
What?
It's Thanksgiving.
What?
Why is that?
Yeah.
It is what you make it.
I don't dig it. Turkey I could take or leave.
Okay. I'm with you on that.
Mashed potatoes you can have any time. I don't like casseroles. I'd rather, honestly, if you put a lasagna out, spaghetti and meatballs and a pizza, I'm gonna be so happy. That would be my Thanksgiving meal.
Go ahead.
Honestly, I'll eat turkey though.
I'm a sucker for my mom's green bean casserole.
Okay.
She crushes that, and my sister makes a killer pumpkin pie. And because of COVID last year, I wasn't able to go down there, and this year I'm not able to go down there. So it's going to be 3 years without that green bean casserole and that pumpkin pie, and it's almost way too long.
It's so interesting diving into the different Thanksgiving or different meals based on the ethnicity. Because green bean casserole is something that was a myth to me in the black household because we don't make green bean casserole. My rookie year in Cleveland, I'm playing for the Browns. Excuse me, playing for the Browns. My parents didn't get a chance to come up. This is the only Thanksgiving I missed with my parents. Was my first year in the league, and I went over to my coach's house, Rip Scher, who was the quarterback's coach. He lived in Avon Lake, and they had green bean casserole. I was like, this stuff really exists. They really have
not
that.
a unicorn.
No, it's not. For me, I love the potato salad. I love macaroni cheese. I love my sister's dressing. Turkey, I'm with you. I could take it or leave it. Honey baked ham, it's pretty good. I'm more so dressing, macaroni cheese, and potato salad. Those 3. Collard greens 4.
Yeah, and then the leftover sandwich, man. Like that.
Yes.
That's good.
That's an essential
That's
part.
top of the line.
Day,
Even later
that
on.
night
Yeah,
with the
that
Miracle
night.
Whip.
Oh, the
my
turkey
God,
sandwich.
it's the
Oh, yeah.
best.
The warm turkey
You got
sandwich with the
4
gravy.
games
Heat it up
on
a little
tomorrow,
bit.
so you could eat late.
I'm going to have to
You can
because
eat late.
we got our pregame going on at Tin Roof. You guys are going to be out there for that. It's from 10:30 to 12:30. So don't forget, it's earlier than it normally is because the kickoff's at 12:30.
Got it on the calendar, buddy.
And then I'll be at the post game at the Brass Rail. So I'm going to be downtown pretty much the entire day. So if I can find some turkey, I'm going to get mean on some turkey.
I'm going to be escaping a little early because I'm going to the game and not lying to get in that game.
Oh, gosh.
I can only imagine. how long that line's going to be. Even though
I was going to say.
Even though the crowd might be a little lower this year.
Yeah, Lions host the Bears tomorrow. Bears minus 3.5 points. The 82nd Thanksgiving Day game, which is pretty awesome. That's kind of our thing here in Detroit. But what you were saying about the tickets, not only there's still a lot available, which normally doesn't happen, but this year they're going to be NFTs. That's what you were saying?
Yeah, check it out. If you buy tickets from the NFL site itself or the Detroit Lions, Alex put that up. That's what they look like. And you can explain what these are to me, Stick, because I'm clueless what this is.
Yeah, it's interesting that we're to this point already because I think it was like 8 months ago, Mark Cuban was talking about NFTs, and he was saying, hey, in the future, all the tickets to Dallas Mavericks games are going to be NFTs. And what makes this cool and different than just having, your barcode on your phone and the screenshot is this is a singular digital item that you can store and save. So people that are big on memorabilia, like, hey, I was at that game. A screenshot doesn't really prove you're at that game.
Yeah.
The NFT will prove that you were actually in the building. So, I mean, it's the future of ticket stubs. It's actually kind of neat that we're witnessing this history take place.
It'd be interesting, like the fact that you have to prove that you were at a game. It tells you about the liars and things of that nature. But it's great that they're doing it. Like, you definitely want to be able to pull this merchandise, pull this. A lot of people don't necessarily agree with you. Like hard copies, you like hard things, actual that you can touch. But it's so good that you have something. Because 40 years from now, you might lose stuff in storage. You move, divorces, you never know. So to actually have this information for a long time is great.
They'll give you something when you go in. They'll have a towel with the Thanksgiving Day on there. One year it was against the Falcons. Michael Vick came to town. They killed us, by the way. They gave out the foam fingers that year. Remember that? They give away some decent stuff usually. This year will probably be the towels.
Hopefully the turkey hats. I love the turkey hats.
They never gave away the turkey hat, but there's always a lot of turkey hats going around. And they might give away the brown paper bags this year. Who knows?
People are bringing those
Bring
themselves.
those sacks in.
You guys want to take a look at the top 10 plays on Thanksgiving for the Lions?
I would love to.
Yeah.
I love it.
Before we talk about the Lions, let's watch this. This would be dope.
This is cool.
Yeah, these are all the top 10
Ooh.
plays. Yeah, nice little catch there. And the toe drag.
Look at Barry. Look at Barry. Get up out of there.
Yeah, Barry's
it's
got
a wrap.
so many.
Barry on Thanksgiving is like Jordan playing at the Garden. There was no such thing as a bad Barry game on
The
Thanksgiving.
worst part about this is I wish we could hear the calls because you got Pat Summerall, John Madden, you got Dick Enberg
Brian
on a couple of
Westbrook.
calls, Jim Nance, Joe Buck. They got all the great announcers. Even Greg Gumbel got in there a couple of times.
Brian Westbrook
But
was pretty
wish we
good.
could hear him, but of course the NFL will not allow us to play those
what a
guys.
great catch.
Calvin.
Calvin.
What a great catch.
Look at that.
Over 2 defenders.
Catching it in traffic. Oh man, that was great.
One of my favorite
Here we
games
go.
is the Viking game. Is this the Viking game?
Nah, this is Viking. No.
Yeah, that's the Viking
Oh, it
game.
is.
That's Herman.
And I love those
Yeah.
throwback pewter uniforms
Love those.
with
Oh, yeah.
no logo. Just
Oh,
classic.
give me that. Give me that. Is that Marvin?
Marvin Jones Jr.
Marvin Jones Jr. Look at that's
Isn't
the
that
same
beautiful?
thing Calvin just did. But look how he
Nasty.
like moved it away from the defenders.
Look at Dave Craig.
Dave Craig.
Dave
Oh,
Craig.
another big catch.
Tight end.
Yeah, David Sloan. You remember David Sloan?
Yeah,
Remember
that
these
wasn't,
Sloanheads?
that wasn't a Sloan head.
That wasn't Sloan?
No.
That's not
Oh, it
Sloan.
looked like him. What a great catch, though, off the back of the
It was.
defender.
He works for
It's
Channel
Kirk
7.
Cousins picked off by Bryant Westbrook.
Not
Bryant Westbrook's going to pick one off and go
not-
take it to the
that's
house.
not
No, we already
No.
passed that one. This
Oh,
is
we passed
Darius
that
Slay.
one?
Pass. That was
Darius
D.
Slay.
Slay.
Here's Prater kicking the field goal, 13-13
That put them
Minnesota.
in first place, by the way, that kick.
Oh, remember when we were in first
Yep.
place?
Two.
Oh, that felt
You'll
good.
never bring
Oh,
Prater
look
up
at
around Maz. Uh-oh, look up there it is, Barry.
Barry, he's
Woo!
gone.
Woo!
Dick Enberg on the call.
You know what I'm liking about these
Against the
highlights
Bears.
against the Bears? It's giving us hope. That was a Calvin play you saw. You saw a Barry play, another Barry play.
Look at the Silver Dome.
11th consecutive 100-yard game.
Now this is the game, the last game they're showing here. This was against the Packers in the 60s, 1967.
This is no
The
color.
Packers were undefeated going into this game. They wound up winning the championship. Lions gave them their only loss that year.
Take that, Lombardi.
How about that?
Take that.
Lombardi was pissed.
You know what's great about this is like now you see black and white games, you realize why they created logos on the helmet. Because right now I couldn't tell you who's playing who without the logo.
Right.
They sacked Bart Starr in that game 11 times.
Awesome.
Alex Karras with a safety on him as well.
So,
Alex
Maz,
Karras.
you pretty much go to every Thanksgiving
I do.
Day game,
30
right?
in a
Do you-
row
Do you
this
remember all those plays?
I do. I totally remember. My favorite games were the Buffalo Bills and the Vikings in the 90s with Scott Mitchell. The Buffalo Bills, they did a reverse on the opening kickoff that scored a touchdown.
Oh, wow.
And the Viking game, they did a couple of trick plays. Herman Moore scored both
Yeah.
times. You got to see Barry Sanders. One year, Barry got hurt, which was a downer. There was so many great memories. I only remember the wins.
People
I
forgot.
only remember the wins.
People don't remember how good the Buffalo Bills were from
Yeah.
like that
Oh, you
89 to 95 stretch.
4 Super Bowls.
Yeah.
Like and the crazy thing about those games is and obviously they lost all of them. Only team ever to win lose back-to-back Super Bowls, let alone 4 in a row.
Ouch.
They were the best team in the league in 3 of those years.
Oh, yeah.
Like people don't remember that. They
Leading
just like, oh,
scoring.
they went, they lost. They
Best
were the,
offense.
Yeah, they had Jim Kelly, Andre Reed, like oh man,
They
were
did
great.
Thurman
Thomas.
Thomas.
Thurman
Yeah. They did
Who
30 for
Barry
30 on
Sanders
that.
backed up.
It was fantastic.
It was great.
It was fantastic.
It was
the 30
great.
for 30 on that.
Before the Bills, it was the Vikings that lost 4 Super Bowls. So the Vikings had their
Wilbur
4
Marshall.
Super Bowl run, and then the Bills followed.
So,
the purple people
would
use?
you rather be the Lions and never have made it to the Super Bowl, or the Bills and made it to
No,
4
the
and never
Bills.
won?
Bills.
the Bills.
Okay. Bills.
I'd rather be any team but the Lions, including the Jags.
Oh, come on.
No, I mean that.
Come on.
And the Jags are the only team to have not played on Thanksgiving yet, out of
Oh,
the
wow.
32. So look for next
They
year
have
at
a
the
win this
Jags.
year.
Jags will.
The
get
NFL's
in.
trying to
Got
get them
2
to
wins,
London.
actually.
But what hurts me, guys, is it's the national perception of this game. Why do the Lions have this game? And Alex, put up the tweet of the first game in 1934. This is on radio, on national radio. Check that out, Stick. Read that up for us.
The Detroit Lions played the first of their traditional Thanksgiving home games on November 29th, 1934. A 19-16 loss to the Chicago Bears. Let's hope that's not an omen.
Yes.
The
Man.
University of Detroit Stadium. Shout out to UAD. Go
UAD,
Titans.
go Titans.
The game was also on CBS Radio's first
Yep.
ever national broadcast of an NFL game.
That's
Wow.
what sold the NFL on giving the Lions that game every year, because the Lions owners at that time were having a hard time selling tickets. So they said, hey, because they came from Portsmouth, whatever you pronounce it.
Yeah.
So when the Lions came to Detroit, they weren't a hot ticket. The Thanksgiving Day game, the first one, it sold out, and every one after that, it just picked up more steam. So the Lions have had it now 82 years. They only stopped it during the war, World War I and World War II, the only times they didn't play the Thanksgiving Day game. So it belongs to Detroit. Last night, shout out to Scott Van Pelt on ESPN. He said he did a whole segment, and he's like, hey, all you haters out there that want to take this game away from the Lions, give the Lion fans a break. This is their game. This is their national game. Leave them alone. You don't like it? Go eat. Go take a walk. Do whatever the hell you want. Leave the Lions alone. So Scott Van Pelt, SVP, I love you, man.
Yeah, and we appreciate that, because at the end of the day, they have not had the Detroit Lions on Monday Night Football a bunch of different years.
They haven't earned it.
Like and rightfully so.
Yeah.
They haven't earned it, so they don't have them on there. So that's where you have a chance to slight a team that's bad, as you make them pay for it there. Don't slight a team that started the original game, and that's where, like you think of Thanksgiving, you think of the Detroit Lions playing against the Bears or the Cowboys or the Packers. Whether they win or lose, it's a part of tradition. Keep it going.
I'll tell you, yesterday Ryan Armani had a great take, and it was because how many people are going to be downtown? 500,000 maybe downtown tomorrow?
The parade and all that, maybe.
With all of that, the turkey trot, the parade. Why not have a representative from the Lions, a few of them, go around and give some tickets out to families out there and say, come on over to Ford Field and watch this Thanksgiving Day game, because there's going to be a lot of empty seats, and there's going to be a lot of Bear fans. There's going to be a lot of sacks on heads. It's going to be kind of embarrassing tomorrow. I'm afraid. I just don't want to be embarrassed as a Lion fan. I don't want to hear Joe Buck and Troy Aikman, and I love those guys, but, what else are they going to talk about?
Right.
You got a team that's lost 5 in a row in the Bears, and you got a winless team in the Lions. Just give tickets to people that have never gone.
Well, let's talk about that when we get back. Dan Campbell has some interesting thoughts about who's going to play a quarterback this game tomorrow, so we'll talk about that when we get back.
Yeah, it's Stick filling in for Ryan Armani, Braylon Edwards,
Yes,
and this is The Bottom Line.
Woodward Sports Network.
Let's go.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
The pros know. Go! Listen Monday through Friday for Big D Energy Live on the Woodward Sports Network with Stanley Cup champ Darren McCarty, former Lion Joik Bell, and the silky voice of Neil Rule.
New career in an industry that is always essential. That's right. I'm talking about the heating and cooling industry. Visit northwesterntech.edu right now to find out how you can start off at $77,000. I say it every day, and I'm never lying. $77,000 sounds like a career. Visit northwesterntech.edu if you find out want to make some payola.
How Jared is feeling this week and when you might know?
Yeah, I thought he was better today, I mean, I think it's leaning that way to golf. We'll see.
Leaning towards golf?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we'll see.
Percentage?
You the percentage.
I thought it would be appropriate if I followed up that way.
Yeah, I would say there's a 60% chance of it being 50-50.
You gotta love Dan Campbell.
What a great response.
I'm just happy he's found some sense of humor, some lightness. Things haven't been light around Allen Park, especially at Ford Field. They're 0-9-1 going on the season, heading into the Thanksgiving game. So it's just good to see him kind of lighthearted, having some fun, and hopefully it leads into tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to get these guys to get back on track by just shutting down and not being yourself, And I was wondering that before the season, like, how long can the rah-rah last? And you saw it kind of fade away when he was crying after that one game. Yeah. Then he came back. But it's
Cincinnati
good to see,
game was tough for him, too.
Yeah, it's good to see Dan Campbell, though, being Dan Campbell again.
Yeah, Maz, talking about, he says 60%, that he's 50-50, which is great, by the way. I think with Jared Goff, you look at Tim Boyle last week, and he said that Tim Boyle was about as efficient as he could be to be rusty and to do what they were doing. But You watch that. You're 15 of 23, 77 yards. This is the NFL.
Yeah.
77 yards isn't going to cut it in the NFL. As bad as Jared Goff has played for the most part, he's still been floating around 89 and 92 QBR. I don't know how, or passer rating.
That's because he dumps off a 3-yard pass.
This is very true, but he's still floating around. I think 190 yards a game, efficiency rating or rate, like we said, floating around 89 and 92. He gives you a better chance to win. And if he's gotten more healthy, if he's gotten healthy enough to go out there where he's not endangering himself or the team, you got to have Jared Goff be the guy. As much as we talk about it, he's got to be the guy.
And Khalil Mack's not there. He's done for the rest of the year. The Bears are in a free fall. They've lost 5 in a row. The word on the street is they want Nagy fired. They even asked Nagy. There's a rumor that they told you this is going to be your last game tomorrow. And he said, I haven't heard that. Let's face it. He's going to get canned at the end of the year. Regardless, if you fire him now, what the hell's the difference? The Bears are not playing that well. They have probably a good chance tomorrow. Because they got Andy Dalton playing quarterback tomorrow.
Talking about Nagy's record, though.
Nagy against the Lions. Go ahead. What is it?
Nagy against the Detroit Lions is 6-1, and he's 25 and 26 against everybody else.
Which
it's not bad.
Not bad.
Hey, man, if you could beat your division rival like that, it does pretty well.
You give yourself a chance.
Yeah, look at Mitch Trubisky was able to hold down for a job. And to me, that's when Nagy should have been let go last year. Yeah. Whenever you remove a quarterback from a team that's undefeated, you're stupid as a head coach. Yeah. Like, if it's working, don't break it. You could always go to Foles. You could have always went to Foles if things started to go bad.
Super Bowl MVP.
Right, but you can't go back to Trubisky once you took him out. So when he took him out when you were undefeated last year, I'm like, this guy doesn't know how to lead. Because what are you thinking as a player? All right, I come in, I do my job, we're undefeated, and I'm still losing my job? This makes no sense, Coach.
I've always been leery of when coaches take a quarterback out just to end up putting that quarterback back into the fold.
It's embarrassing.
You ruin him. You ruin him 100%. You take away his confidence. You take away, and nowadays with social media and all that, it's much bigger because people really can see, and you can see how people respond to that and things of the nature. I remember Michigan when Brady Hoke turned Devin Gardner into a wideout. You take him from the quarterback position, you put him in wideout, and then tell him go learn how to catch the ball, play wideout, and then you say, you know what? No, we don't have any good quarterbacks. Hey, why don't you come back and play quarterback? I always respected how Devin was able to go through that process and then come back and play quarterback and actually have one of his best game ever against Notre Dame when he came back his junior year to play quarterback. So
yeah, that didn't sit well with the Michigan people. That hurt Hoke's status.
Yeah, it did.
Michigan's done that though with a bunch of quarterbacks that they brought in, like Diallo Johnson way back in the day. They brought him in.
Shout out to Orchard St. Mary's.
That's right. But you brought in Diallo as quarterback. Diallo was a fantastic quarterback, but he ended up being a good wide receiver. Caught the game-winning touchdown against Alabama in a bowl game. Yep. Yeah, that was a huge one. And the same thing with Jermaine Gonzalez out of Orchard Lake St. Mary's. And the reason I know this, obviously, they went to my high school, so I followed their careers all the way from high school. But you saw the same thing happen with Jermaine. He came in as a quarterback, got one snap. It was a bad snap fumble, and next thing you know, he's a wide receiver. So I'm not sure why that happens so often, but I'm sure it happens at every program, essentially, right?
It happened a lot more back then, too. So you're looking at the 2000s, the 90s, 80s. It happened a lot back then because they figured out, and I'm talking about institutions. They figured out, like, hey, this guy may not be a quarterback for our team, but we have to have his athleticism. We have to have, this guy's a great player. We have to figure it out, have to get him on the team, and then we can figure it out. I think you saw a lot of that back then. They knew Jermaine Gonzalez was probably going to end up playing wide receiver as well as Diallo, but they said, we got to have him here. We don't want him to go anywhere else. And I think you saw a lot of that back then. Now, not so much. Guys are playing the position that they want to play early on now. In middle school, high school, they're playing where they're going to play for life.
Yeah. So speaking of that, what quarterback in reality, as a Lion fan, do you want playing tomorrow?
Goff gives us the best chance to win.
Agreed. I mean, 77 yards that Boyle passed for last week. That's not even good in a half. Like, if he passed for 77 yards in the first half, we'd be like, wow, let's pull this guy. Yeah. No, he did it for the entire game, but that's not all his fault. I mean, they didn't let him throw the ball.
This is very true. He had a pass down the field. They let him throw one, and it ended up being an interception. But it was a great try. It was a great try on a 50-50 ball. For me, I want to see David Blau. Like, I want to see David Blau.
2 years ago he played.
And 280 yards, as Alex
touchdowns.
So eloquently told us, touchdowns, one interception. Like, I want to see David Blau because we saw Tim Boyle, small sample size, It was not enough for me. We've seen enough of Jared Goff, and if he's hurt, you don't want him to get hurt anymore.
Correct.
Why not give David Blau a chance? I mean, you're 0-9-1. What are you hurting?
You're not. I would even sign someone up in a practice squad.
No, come on. What are we doing here? We're still a professional football team that's got to put proper athletes on the field. Like,
but they're not.
Think about the Panay Sewells of the job. Think about Taylor Decker. You can't do that to those guys. You got to make sure that you're letting them know you're giving them your best effort too.
Listen, run the ball.
I would love to play quarterback for the Lions tomorrow.
Run the ball, man. Run the ball.
I'm with you 100%.
Right?
We have
Jamal Williams, put him in the backfield, and DeAndre Swift. Run a two-back offense like the old days. Run the damn ball down their throat.
I love it. I love it. And the Lions were known for the two-back offense back in the day, man. Schlesinger. We were known for our fullback.
You got Cabinda, the fullback, put him in there. He had a great play last week.
Shout out to Penn State. They just extended their coach. We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, Cabinda actually was talking about playing on Thanksgiving, and here's what he had to say about that.
It's a super cool tradition. Be able to play on Thanksgiving. I mean, what more could you ask for? I mean, national TV, playing 1 o'clock. Everybody's watching. Everybody's at home, eating their Thanksgiving meals. I mean, so it's really just a huge opportunity, to show out for your family, your people back home and stuff like that. So from that standpoint, it's pretty cool.
That's Jonathan Cabinda commenting on playing on Thanksgiving. And what I love about Cabinda is the way Dan Campbell was talking about him earlier in the season. Like, if I had to pick somebody on the team to be in a bar fight with me, I'm picking Cabinda.
Really?
Yeah, that's his guy. That's his tough guy.
I really like this. I really enjoy this because the fullback position, they can get you going. And the reason why I say they can get you going, they get you excited. When you got a guy in front of you, man, and you see it as a fan or you see it as the starting running back for the Detroit Lions, and he just goes in there and smashes a Mike linebacker. He picks up the blitz or decleats somebody. We had a guy when I was with the New York Jets in John Connor. John Connor.
We Terminator.
Terminator, man. Terminator. We had started him on special teams, and he used to go down and just lay people out, so they gave him.
Didn't he beat cancer as well?
He did.
Yeah.
No, that was James Conner.
Okay.
That was James Conner.
Okay.
This is John Connor.
Yeah,
from
the running
Kentucky.
back for Arizona.
He was from
beat
Kentucky.
Cancer.
Yeah, so you put him in there, lay guys out, man, and then the team rallies around you. You lay guys out, and you really can rally around it. You give the running back some hope. The line loves it. And now they like, oh, this guy's not going to show us up. So now they start blocking harder. You start getting more holes. Hey, Maz, good call. Good call. 2-back sets.
Run it down, man.
I agree.
Run it down. If Dan Campbell's going to
run the power eye tomorrow.
I don't care if you run the wishbone.
Notre Dame.
I don't give a damn. Just run the ball. And if Dan Campbell's going to keep calling these plays, please don't call a draw on 3rd and 14. That's all I'm asking.
And I hope, for Dan Campbell's sake, that his thought process isn't, well, if we just run the ball, it'll be boring to the fans. No, I tell you what, the fans be happy you got to win. There's no such thing in the NFL as an ugly win. The Cleveland Browns fans need to realize that.
Yeah, no, I've been happy even when they've just been in games. And, to the point, like, coming into the Lions, Jared Goff was the #1 play action passer in the league. So if we can finally establish that run, I'm not saying Jared Goff's going to turn into, Aaron Rodgers overnight, but it benefits him, and that's something that he's good at. So let's cater to it.
I'd like to see Josh Reynolds maybe pick up, because last week was not a good week for him.
Awful for him.
Not good.
I'll tell you what, there's another game coming up that we want to talk about, and it involves University of Michigan and Ohio State. Who's going to win the big game?
You mean the team down south?
This Saturday. You know what? Michigan's not like Ohio State. Like, they don't bother us that much, and we'll get into that when we show something great that you have planned for us. We don't worry about them like they worry about us. So what I mean by that is not the gameplay, but all the extra stuff, like I can't say anything with the word M in it and things like that. That stuff is foolishness, but maybe it's not. They're 17-3, so...
Well, we got a big game to talk about coming up on Saturday, #2 versus #5, and we're going to do that next right here on The Bottom Line. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Armani. That is Braylon Edwards.
Woodward Sports Network.
Bottom Line.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We're recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Big names, bigger opinions. It's The Bottom Line on Woodward Sports.
Hey, the holidays are here, and you do not want to go to your family's house looking all shaggy, looking all rubbish. Your mom's going to tell you about it. Your grandma's going to tell you about it. Your sister's going to tell you. Be like, what have you been doing all year? Believe me, it's happened to me when I don't have my hair done right. So that means you got to hit up Lady Jane's. They have locations all over Metro Detroit, or you could come to the home office right here in Birmingham, 15 Mile in Woodward. Come check out some of the shows while they're live. The ladies will take care of you. You sit down. You get treated like a king. So make sure you go to Lady Jane's if you want to look your best this this holiday season. It's wicked awesome. They'll have you looking like Hollywood.
Wicked awesome. No way, there's nothing wrong with that. You want to look like Hollywood on the holidays, so
that's right.
You're definitely right. It's gonna be an interesting game. We've talked. You could talk till we're blue in the face about Ohio State and Michigan. You can talk about what Michigan has to do to win, what Ohio State does every game, what they've done in the past, but the fact remains, you got to go out there and do it. Like, we've said enough, we've talked about it, but let's get on the lighter side of things. Let's show something more on the lighter side, something fun. Big Ten Network did something fun, and you know what? I won't even set it up. Alex, have them check it out.
Yeah, it's big, it's loud, it's a iconic stadium.
Nope. Their fans are committed. Don't have a lot of good things to say about Brutus. His head is pretty dimensionally sound. Those were my high school colors.
Probably not.
How do you not? So I love two things about this. I love that Ohio State, they are very standard. That's who they are. Like, if you put all the former alumni, all the current players, all the former coaches, current coaches, like, that's how they will answer that question. Like, they don't like Michigan. They are what's the word I'm looking for? Conditioned to hate Michigan. They are brainwashed. That's the word I was looking for. To hate Michigan and everything about Michigan, the state of Michigan, the school. Michigan State gets hated inadvertently, on accident because of Michigan. But Michigan, we don't care. You see Harbaugh. Harbaugh was like, you can tell he doesn't like Ohio State, but it's like,
he's got that squinty thing. Yeah,
exactly.
And Ryan Day didn't have anything good to say about us.
All right, Braylon, since you don't care, though, let's say something nice about Ohio State.
The great thing about it is you start with the stadium. I mean, the stadium's loud. Like, you play down there, like, the stadium is it's
shaped like a toilet bowl. That's nice.
It is shaped like a toilet bowl, but on the inside, you don't notice that. You just notice that the fans and the environment is ridiculous. Like, their helmets are traditional.
They got stickers.
Their band is great.
Band is awesome.
There you go.
Yeah. Their band is, you know what? There you go, man. Yeah. Band is awesome. They did this Michael Jackson deal where they had him moonwalking about 3 years ago. I was like, how the hell did they? That was amazing. Their band is good.
The best one was this year when they had the shape of a human being walking to a trash can with the Michigan logo and putting it in a trash can.
Hey,
the band. Did you see that, Stick?
No. Damn, how much do these band kids, how much time do they have on their hands?
Let me tell you something, man. They were amazing.
They put in a lot of work.
Alex, try to find that one. It's easy to find that one.
They put in
I know you're on it.
They put
you're
in
a good
ton
band.
of work. Because I watched what the Michigan band did every Friday. No, it was every Thursday night or Friday. Couldn't have been Friday. So it would have had to be Thursday nights. Every Thursday night, me, Marlon Jackson, Tim Massacoy, Dave Underwood, we used to go to L. Bell Field. L. Bell Field is where the band practices. Yep. Huge practice right on Hoover. And, man, you just watch the work that they put in. And they're there all night. And that's them. I can only imagine the work that Ohio State puts in, because they've had these video clips that have gone viral for about the last 5-6 years now.
Yeah, I remember the Michael Jackson character moonwalking back, like you were mentioning.
And he had the hat, too.
Yeah.
He was like,
and when they do the script Ohio and then they dot the I.
Dot the I.
You got to give them credit. I like Ohio personally. Because when
Hey, I will tolerate Go Green. I will not tolerate that mess out of you. Okay? That is not tolerated, especially not this week.
Listen,
I take my earpiece out.
I like Ohio. They have great roads.
Yeah.
They do. When I'm driving to New Jersey, I do that 3-4 times a year. I like driving through Ohio. It's nice and flat.
You got the turnpike.
It's
Cedar
Point,
a
few bucks.
Putin Bay.
Cedar Point's there. I mean, I like Ohio as far as that goes. Just driving through it.
Ohio is flat. It's boring. It's dull as hell. It's the longest drive ever. When you drive,
That's not long. Try driving through Pennsylvania.
No, but what I'm saying is like it's long when it's long considering it's not that big of a state and it's so flat. At least in Pennsylvania, once you get about an hour and a half, you start getting the mountains. You start getting, where you get the valleys on the left, the mountains on the right, or
past
in
Penn
reverse.
State
Past
University.
Penn State and Happy Valley. So that's cool. Ohio sucks all the way around.
A 4-hour delay to where you're actually going.
Exactly.
That's what Ohio is. Like you're never going to Ohio. You're always trying to get through Ohio to go somewhere.
You know what? I think that's why they invented the self-driving car with the Tesla, so that when you're driving through Ohio, you can just get in the back seat and close your ass, take a nap.
Just be careful of your speed if you have a Michigan plate.
Right. Oh, yeah, they hate you there.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the game. Obviously, Saturday, Big House. We're going to be doing our pregame broadcast from the Brown Jug, which is going to be a lot of fun. That's going to be from 10 a.m. Yeah, 10 a.m. to noon. So stop on by the Brown Jug. Come say, hey, Braylon, I know you're going to stop by, or Monty's planning on stopping by. Lots of people going to the game, so they're just going to stop by, hop in the broadcast, hop off. But that's going to be a lot of fun, and I'm anticipating Ann Arbor to be absolutely insane.
Yeah, it's going to be insane. It's the first time that, because the last time that Michigan actually was good, when people thought they had a chance to win, was 2016, and that was in Columbus. So, oh yeah, look at this.
Look at this. This is the band we're showing you.
That is.
You can't see it on the radio, but this is the Ohio band.
I'm not supposed to like this as much as I do because I
I
just have respect.
Game
for
respects
it.
game. You know.
Yeah, I have to respect it.
They're walking the Michigan logo off to a garbage can.
Yeah, that was,
and there it goes.
That was pretty good. They still can kiss my butt. Right. So the last time that Michigan was good and they had a chance was 2016. That was the infamous spot game. But where was that game? That was in
Ohio
Columbus.
State, right.
The last time that Michigan was walking into a game like this where you felt like they could win, where there were playoff implications, was before the playoff existed. So I think Ann Arbor is going to be rocking. And just talking about the game itself, first of all, you know what stat I get tired of hearing about? They talk about Michigan is 17-3 in the last 20 games to Ohio State. You know about that one, right, Maz? 17-3 in the last 20. But
Oh,
you know
God,
what?
yeah.
I got news
8
for you.
in a row, man.
But guess what? I got news for you. Every team in the Big Ten has a record like that against Ohio State. Okay, look at this.
I know, but we shouldn't. Michigan should not.
Michigan State is 17-3 in the last 20 games. Penn State is 16-5 in the last game.
You had to go do your homework, huh?
Wisconsin is 19-6 in their last 25 games. Purdue has beat them once. Iowa has beat them once. Nobody can beat them. So it's not just Michigan.
But Wisconsin doubled Michigan. They got 6 versus 3.
Well, good for them.
But honestly, Michigan should be sitting at least 50-50, right?
Yeah.
Listen, I'm not making any excuses. We understand what happened. Lloyd retired. You know, you bring in Rich Rod. We don't have to make excuses. Yes, we should be, and we're not. But everybody else has fared no better. But going into this game, we've talked about it, man. You just really want to see that defense really get after that offensive line. You want to see that D-line. Prove to me that you're that good. Like we talked about this earlier in the year. We talked about it when Michigan was about to play Michigan State. And I talked to Alex about it. And I talked to Ryan and Maz. I said, you know what? You got 10 sacks. You lead the Big Ten. They're talking about you being 2 top 10 picks in the NFL draft this year. Prove it to me. These are the games where you prove it. This isn't the game where you're going to get taken out at halftime. This isn't the game where you're going to get taken out at the third. I need you, Aiden Hutchinson. I need you, David Ojabo. Full throttle for 60 minutes. I need you to show me why you guys are leading the Big Ten in sacks. And then on the secondary, and then on the offense, do what you've been doing. Don't change things. A lot of times coaches, players, they get into a big game, they get into a big moment, and what they want to do is they want to change what got them there. Right. They want to go on the field and you want to try to run a route different because it's the Ohio State game, and I saw this on Instagram. You know, you want to go try to do something extra as quarterback. You want to shimmy out of a play, and you don't want to take the running back that might be right in front of you where you can drop it off to him, and then maybe he takes it for 15 yards. You're like, oh, no, I'm going to dodge his tackle and try to throw this bomb. Do what got you there. Take your time. You can beat Ohio State if you take your time, play your game.
What do you think about the addition of Edwards into the offense? He did so well last week with his 10 catches, 170 yards.
Good.
Do you think that's going to add another layer, or does Ohio State really not worry about him, or is that something that they're focused on now? Because that emergence last week, to me, I thought was timely, you know, because Edwards has the skills. They could have used him all season long, but last week they're like, all right.
It's a secret weapon, man.
Yeah, we're about to show what we got. And did they show it too early?
The first thing I thought about, I was like, is this running back about to have more yards and touchdowns against Ohio State than I had? I started going back. I was 11 for 179 and a touchdown. Woo! So thank God.
Well, the Edwards name carries well against Ohio State.
I'm saying that's the second time that Edwards has
You
had.
sure he's not related to you?
You said, hey, I'm claiming him. I'm definitely claiming him.
I would.
He's your little cousin.
He's something. He's something I'm claiming. But I don't think they showed their hand too early, because I think what you did in that game is you gave him a sense of confidence. Because when you let him get off like that, when you put him in there, you show that you trust him. Like, so what? It was Maryland. It's still a Big Ten team. It's on the road, and Maryland has the potential to score. You saw, say his name, Alex.
Tulia.
Tagovailoa.
Mini Tua is what I call him.
So you put him in there, you put him on the road, you put him against Maryland, and he has this game where he goes off, and you see the confidence level. You see that they trust him. You see that he knows what he's doing. He knows where to be. He has a good feel for the game. I don't think it was too soon, but I do think it was timely. They timed it up perfect. They put him in there 1 week before Ohio State, which is why we talk about having these kind of tune-up games before the big one happen, right on time, and now they have something else going to the game.
Do you see them using Blake Coram, if he does come back tomorrow, which I think he will, Hassan Haskins, and Donovan Edwards on the field all together at the same time? Because I see it.
Same damn time.
I see it.
Because, one, you don't have to put all three in the backfield.
No.
Like Donovan Edwards has shown you,
He's
you can
a
put him
wideout.
in the slot. He's a wide receiver.
Yeah.
You can put him in the slot. You can put him on the outside and have a linebacker match up on him. That's tough for any linebacker to be in space like that with a running back who has wide receiver capabilities. Oh, man, that's going to be tough.
It's interesting to think about now, because the big three for Ohio State's their receivers. The big three for Michigan's their running backs. So which one's going to do the best?
Ohio State also has a hell of a back.
They got a hell of a backfield.
Yeah. I mean, their offense is what it is.
C.J. Stroud and Mayan Williams, they have a hell of a backfield.
How about Master Teague? My favorite name.
Master Teague.
I love Master Teague's name.
The best name ever will always and forever be Alizé Mack. That is my
Alizé
favorite
Mack's
name
good.
in all of football.
Mack.
Alizé Mack.
Did you imagine his parents deciding that name?
Did I send that to the group chat? I think I sent it to the group chat this week.
Did you?
I think I sent it to the group chat because they were playing. We'll figure it out. Somebody got paid. Speaking of the Big Ten, speaking of big teams, somebody got paid and they got broke off. We thought this individual might be leaving, but he's not going anywhere. Stick around. We'll tell you what it is. I'm Braylon. That's Stick. Bottom line, Woodward Sports Network.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Did you know mortgage rates are still at generational lows? If you haven't refinanced your home loan yet, there's still time. Now is your second chance to refinance. You could lower your monthly payment, eliminate credit card debt, or even take cash out by using your home's equity. Call Hall Financial now to get started with your free 5-minute mortgage review. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
And a miraculous catch. Follow us everywhere. Just search Woodward Sports on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, IG, and more.
Gang, it's Maz for the Foaling Warehouse. What's foaling? It's easy. It's bowling, but you throw a football at the pins. Not only that, if you knock them all down, your friend's got to set them all up. Make sure you check out the Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck. Ask for my good buddies. Your great hosts, by the way, Chris and Noni Hutt, right there at the Foaling Warehouse. Chris and Noni invented this game. That's right, and it's huge now. And we got a great place in Hamtramck for you to go and check it out. Host your corporate party, team building event, or you can just play on your own. 2 ways to play: $10 unlimited open play or a private lane reservation for 10 people for 2 hours. Cost you $120. They got over 100 beers plus that $2 mystery beer machine, multiple full bars, and you get to bring your own food in or have it delivered. So check it out. Come get your foal on. Check them out at foalingwarehouse.com.
Welcome back to the bottom line. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Ermani today. Braylon Edwards and Maz is here, of course, with Alex Mayer and the lovely Mr. Fish. Some big contracts being thrown around in college football. Mel Tucker was rumored about a week and a half ago to get $95 million. That
He didn't sign yet.
Yeah, that really hasn't come to fruition, which is, I don't know. If I'm a Michigan State fan right now, I'm feeling a little uncomfortable.
Well, maybe you don't want him after last week.
God, I don't
I'm just
know.
saying.
Then I wouldn't have put the offer out there if I knew one game was going to change my mind. But either way, James Franklin from Penn State, he got paid. He's making money. He's doing well now. They just re-upped him to a 10-year contract. And Braylon, you think this is a good hire? You think this is a good re-sign, right?
Yeah, I definitely think this is a good hire and a good rehire. And I'm going to tell you why. Since James Franklin's been at Penn State, which is 2014. Actually, let's start before that. The last 4 years before James Franklin got there in 2014, Penn State was 7-6, 9-4, 8-4, 7-5. No bowl games in sight. Bill O'Brien, no bowl games. Joe Paterno, his last 2 seasons, no bowl games. since 2014, since James Franklin has been there, James Franklin has won 11 games 3 times. 11-2, 11-2, 11-3. Also, he's been to the Cotton Bowl, which they won last year. He's been to the Fiesta Bowl. He's also been to the Rose Bowl, in which they was one of the best games I've ever seen. With I want to say it was Sam Darnold versus who was the quarterback?
No, God.
What's the guy?
The little guy.
Yeah, the little guy.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
That's his initials. It'll come to me. But it was one of the best games I ever saw. Saquon Barkley had a ridiculous first half, but Sam Darnold and USC came back in the second half. He's been in 3 major bowls, 1, 2. He's won 11 or more.
Trace McSorley?
Trace McSorley, my guy. We're giving Jim Harbaugh credit for what, 4 10-win seasons potentially this week. Well, James Franklin has 3. 11 wins or more seasons. They've been at the talk of the Big Ten. They've always been in the playoff implications in terms of potentially getting there or being around it. He gets the job done.
But Stan don't like him.
He's beat Ohio State twice.
Stan doesn't like him.
He's beat Ohio State twice. He's beat Ohio State twice. That's the golden standard in the Big Ten. You got to beat Ohio State, right? It's the golden standard. He's done it twice. So when you look at all that, this isn't going to be the first time that his name is going to swirl in terms of contract negotiations for another team, with an LSU, a Florida, USC, Washington, or Washington State. So if I'm Penn State, I'm like, the fans like James Franklin. We like James Franklin. There's no BS that has come up with James Franklin. He clearly knows how to win. Even this season right here, if you look at Sean Clifford not getting hurt in the first half of the Iowa game, they almost beat Iowa and had 3 turnovers and had a terrible backup quarterback. They win. He
was horrible.
They win that game if Sean Clifford plays. Then they come back. It created the rhythm that had him off. They lost Illinois because he came back. He wasn't healthy yet. He came back against Illinois, played a bad game. Look what they did to Michigan. They took Michigan down to the wire and had a chance to win that game. Look at Penn State game.
Right.
I mean, at Penn State. Look at the Ohio State game. They didn't lose by much. They lost by 9. So what I'm saying is he still gets it. He knows how to win. He's ingrained himself to the Penn State culture and right on time. So if I'm Penn State, I love the offer. I love that we need to make this decision because it's going to come up again. Why not secure your guy now? Why waste time? Why give him a chance to think about something? I think they did a good job.
And they're favored this week at East Lansing by a point.
By a point, right?
Yeah.
So this is where my mind went immediately when they signed him, because obviously we're here in Michigan, right by Ann Arbor. It's a big hot point, and so many people are trying to throw Jim Harbaugh out the door constantly, right? But then a signing like James Franklin happens, and everyone's like, oh, that's pretty good. That's a good signing for them. Like, it's smart. You just articulated all the reasons why. And you look at the breakdown of the record, you know, Jim Harbaugh, he's 88-44 with a 66% win percentage. And then you look at James Franklin, he's 67-32 with a 66% win percentage.
Yeah, but it's different wins, though. With the Jim Harbaugh, like, yes, he has a bigger win percentage. He has more wins, but he has 1 bowl game win. James Franklin has 4. He doesn't have any major bowl game appearances. No, he has 1. They played in the Orange Bowl and they lost the year that number 5, Jabril Peppers didn't play and Jake Butt got hurt. They lost a close game. So they played in 1, he's played in 4. He's won 2 of those. He's been in the playoff. He's also won the Big Ten title. He's beat Ohio State twice. So the things that you don't see in the 88 versus 67, you see when you explain the big moments, the big things that actually really matter.
Okay, so within those wins, he's got bigger wins. That's what you're saying?
Yeah.
I understand that, but I'm just like, I just get so sick and tired of people trying to throw Jim Harbaugh out the door. When you're sitting here, you're playing for a shot at a national championship this year. Yeah. He hasn't delivered every single year, and it hasn't been as quick as an ascension as I think everybody wanted it to be. But I always ask people when they want Jim Harbaugh, okay, who are you bringing in?
Right.
And you want to bring in a guy like Franklin, but then you look at it, and they're very similar coaches because, you know, Franklin probably had a little bit of rougher job coming into that because he had to restore not only the program, but how the program was perceived around the nation. You know, after the Joe Pa situation, like, that took a while to die down, even through O'Brien when he was coaching. I think that was a tougher situation, but what Jim Harbaugh has done is taken Michigan back to respectability, which I think everybody should be proud and happy with. I'm not a diehard Michigan fan, so I kind of have an outsider's perspective. To me, it's like, man, you should be happy at 10-2 every year.
We talked about it yesterday, how a lot of these teams are getting rid of coaches early. Look what Florida just did. They got rid of their coach after just a few years, and he won an SEC in Florida. So there's guys that are losing their jobs really quick. Michigan, this is his 7th year. Let's throw last year out, COVID year. As a Michigan fan, I want to throw that year out. Anyway, but keeping him, okay, he wins you some games. You win 8, 9, 10 games. But he don't beat the teams that you need him to beat. His record against winning teams is abysmal. Now, let me ask you this, and Bray, I'll start with you. If they get killed on Saturday, do you still want him to come back next year?
I'm going to start before that, what you said right before that.
Yeah.
And kind of go back with Stick was saying. I'm talking about throwing.
I mean, if they don't play well at all.
No, I got you.
Okay.
I'm going to come back to that. I'm going to jump what you said, and then what you said before your question is with Jim Harbaugh throwing him out the door, and you just sometimes you don't understand. When you pay somebody to do a job and they don't do that job, then you have to move on from that person. When Jim Harbaugh was paid, I guarantee you the conversation that was had in that AD's office, when he was talking, it was, hey, we want to bring you in. We understand that you know Michigan, you played here, you bleed Michigan, we get that. He said, but we need you to bring some of that excitement, that energy that you have. We need that. Also, we need somebody that knows this game. We need somebody that can compete against Urban Meyer. We need somebody that can beat Mark D'Antonio. We need these guys to come in. We need you to do that. We need a Big Ten championship. We need you to do that. He hasn't done those things, and the one thing he hasn't done consistently, and that's beat Michigan State. So I'm looking at the season. This is kind of like you didn't want him here in the beginning, but it's working, and now you look at the way in which he's reworked the system.
Right.
So to answer your question now, Maz, if Jim Harbaugh would have came in and was doing this the way in which he was doing it, but it looked like the past, like he had the same type of personalities, the same ego. His team wasn't available to the players to kind of go in there and talk to the coaches, and they still had this type of success, and they lost against Ohio State, I wouldn't want him. I would say you should have moved on from him. But the fact that he changed his mindset, brought in some younger guys, the guys are having fun, the guys are playing, the guys are into it. The defensive players especially are talking about how accessible the coaches are. I love all that. So they can go out there and play an average game against Ohio State. I won't want to fire him now because he gets it.
I don't expect them to be beaten tomorrow, beaten on Saturday bad. I expect them to be in that game.
I would hope so. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I don't think this is, like, to your point, I don't think you throw him out if he loses this game, because I think you stay with Harbaugh until it shows that something egregious happens or, we got to get rid of him. But, yeah, no, Michigan's got to hang in this game. I like the spread a lot better than I like the Michigan State spread.
Spread's gone up a little, by the way. It went up to 9.5.
Wow, it started at 7.
Yeah.
So what does Vegas know that I don't know?
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, a lot. I know somebody that knows more about this game than we do, and that's Angelique Chengelis. She's coming up next, buddy.
We will talk to her next right here on The Bottom Line. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Armani. That is Braylon Edwards. We'll be right back.
Woodward Sports Network.
Okay,
The Bottom Line.
thirsty little spin goblins. I want you to pedal into the next dimension. Spin it! Spin! Spin! Uh-oh! Carmen's falling behind. Let's give her the hiss of shame. Spin! Spin! Spin till you bleed!
Don't ride the bike of shame. Come to Planet Fitness and find your own lane with tons of equipment, free fitness training, and no hissing. Join today for just $10 a month.
Woodward Sports. Missed part of the show today? Watch again on YouTube or download the podcast anywhere you listen to podcasts.
Hey, everybody, welcome back to The Bottom Line on Woodward Sports. It's Tom Mazaway sitting in my easy chair here in the Lady Jane Studios. Got Braylon Edwards, my main man, and Stick is in for Ryan Armani today. Ryan's getting his Thanksgiving meal all prepped because he's got to help his wife out, man. That's just the way it happens.
And you know it's a good deal when you start cooking the day before.
You do, because you get it out the way.
And he's got Chef Bobby helping him out, so
Bobby Nar.
Good for him. I know Angelique Chengelis is an excellent cook because I know her and her mom do a lot of cooking, and I read about it and I hear about it, and I can't wait to maybe have a Thanksgiving dinner with Angelique Chengelis one of these years. The Angel of the Big House from the Detroit News. She covers Michigan like nobody's business. She joins us here. What's up, Angelique?
As we speak, I've got my mother downstairs doing prep work. Isn't that cruel?
I know.
Yeah, we got to start cooking tonight, too. I mean, that's the only way you can do it.
You got those Greek pastries cooking up?
We are going to make one today, yes.
Yeah, hey,
the good fattening stuff. Hey, Braylon.
Absolutely.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Happy
Good.
Thanksgiving.
Talking to Angelique Chengelis here. She and I have, never always seen eye to eye. But what I will say about this is she has never been more down the line of a person that you can have. She never calls it one way or the other. She's always down the line. I appreciate that. And with doing so, that piece on Blake Coram, I really appreciate you for that, because a lot of times people don't shed light on the type of work that individuals do off camera that is not related to sport. And I really appreciate you. Talk about that a little bit, Angelique, please.
Braylon, you're right, and it was interesting that day. It was Sunday, and I just landed from Maryland, coming back from the Michigan game, and it was raining, it was cold, I needed to get home, my mom's going to be there, and I thought, I got to go to Ypsilanti and see what this is all about, what Blake's doing with these 100 turkeys that he purchased. And I got to the first location, and I saw the tent set up, I don't see Blake, and I'm like, oh boy, what did I do? And I was going to go home again, and I thought, I'm going to go to the second location. I went out there, and I started talking to everybody who was out there. It was cold. It was rainy. Everybody was so cheerful. And then Blake showed up with Nakai Hill-Green, his teammate from high school and now at Michigan. And it was just a really joyous afternoon being out there. Everybody was in a good mood. Everybody loved the fact that they were helping people who were less fortunate and giving them Thanksgiving meals. And here's Blake Coram, who, he's pocketed some NIL money. And he decided about 5-6 weeks ago that he wanted to give back to this Ypsilanti community that Mike Hart, his position coach, is involved in with his foundation, with the CLR Academy, a summer academy that's free for kids in that area. And Blake was really taken by this community and wanted to give back. And I think that's a great thing to highlight, Braylon.
Yeah, definitely shout out to Blake Coram and Mike Hart for the work that they're doing in that Ypsilanti community down there. But with that being said, there is a game this weekend. It is a pretty big game this weekend. But, Michigan has a chance to win. What does Michigan need to do to win this game, Angelique?
Well, I think they got to try to keep C.J. Stroud off the field and those receivers, Braylon. I mean, playing the position, how to evaluate receivers, and I think even I can evaluate, not having played, that these are really good receivers, and it's a pick your poison kind of situation with this Ohio State offense. So, I think you've got to have Hassan Haskins and you would think Blake Coram playing and Donovan Edwards trying to keep that run game going. That's what's gotten Michigan to this point. And now you have a much more confident Cade McNamara, and he's got some nice pieces too. And one guy I keep thinking is critical. It's certainly Cornelius Johnson, but I just have a feeling about Andrell Anthony. And everybody saw what he did on that stage at Michigan State, and I have a feeling that he'll be a big part of this offense on Saturday. But you just can't get into a shootout with Ohio State, and you can't get behind quickly or big against this team.
I think Maz has something next, but it's funny that you say Andrew Anthony. My junior year, last time, I beat Ohio State, the only time we beat Ohio State when I was there. The game that we played Michigan State that year, I had 2 catches and over 100 yards. Andrew Anthony had 2 catches, over 100 yards against Michigan State at Michigan State, and then we ended up beating Ohio State at home. So, great call. I'm excited.
Hey, thank God, Angelique, that they didn't play last year. The spread probably would have been
70.
in upwards of 50, and they probably would have covered it. So let's not talk about last year, but to win 8 straight against your opponent, against your rival, 17 of 20, how did it ever get this bad?
That is a great question. And, I guess you can look to, and it started at the tail end of Lloyd Carr's tenure, so I don't want to say it was just the transitions to different coaches, to Rich Rodriguez and Brady Hoke, and because Brady had a win there. But I really do look at what Ohio State's done in terms of recruiting and how they attack it. They've had great coaches. They've really had a nice string there of Jim Tressel to Urban Meyer and Ryan Day, and I know Luke Fickell was in there for a year, but hey, he's at my alma mater now, and he's going to stay there. So let's not even talk about Luke Fickell. But
go Cincy.
Yeah, right, exactly. And they just have built this machine, and they've been. Look at that transition from Urban Meyer to Ryan Day. There's been no hiccup, and in fact, you could argue that this is a better offense under Ryan Day than under Urban Meyer. So they've just recruited really well. They've got phenomenal facilities. They do a lot of things really well down there, and I think Michigan is certainly in a catch-up role. And it's been a long time. Obviously, Michigan fans are starved for a win over this team, and going to a Big Ten championship and having a chance to be relevant in the national conversation beyond just talk. Actually being there. And this is a good chance. I mean, it's going to be tough, but they have a good chance on Saturday.
We're talking to Angelique from the Detroit News. My name is Stick. First of all, nice to meet you, Angelique. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Are you related to Ryan Day? Are you related to Ryan?
No, but if I'm ever in Columbus, I'm flexing that card with my ID. I'm showing everybody. But outside of Columbus, I don't think it holds much value. So a question for you. As far as the scheme of how important this Michigan-Ohio State game is, when I'm thinking back to the David Boston game, I believe that was 97, when Michigan was number 1 versus number 2. That was about 10 years ago. How important is this specific game in the scheme of this rivalry?
Oh, it's huge. I mean, 2016 was big. 2018, that was a big game also. But this is, we keep talking about, I know we spoke about this before the Michigan State game, how important that game was for Jim Harbaugh. This is huge for Jim Harbaugh. And I will reiterate, I think he's generated a lot of goodwill with Michigan fans. They got to 10 wins. No one thought they would get this far. So there is that. But Michigan fans are also restless. And this is not beating Ohio State is not just a Jim Harbaugh problem. This has gone back now for quite a while. So you can't put it all on him. But it is his 7th year, and he came in 2015 with a lot of expectations, and he encouraged those expectations as well. And one of those expectations is beating Ohio State and playing for a Big Ten championship. And the stage is set now on Saturday, and they're definitely underdogs. Obviously, 8 points or maybe more now at this stage, but. This is huge for Jim Harbaugh, and it's huge for this senior class that's really desperate to leave their legacy.
Angelique, I wanted to ask you about James Franklin. He just signed a 10-year deal. It's going to be a little bit less than Mel Tucker was going to get, supposedly, if he does sign that contract. But Braylon brought up a great point. This guy has done things that Jim Harbaugh has not done. He's beaten Ohio State. He's won a Big Ten. He put he put Penn State back where they belong. What has Jim Harbaugh done wrong over the years?
Well, that's a legitimate question, and I don't know. I think it's this mentality of not being able to finish in November, not being able to finish games too. In the fourth quarter, I've seen a number of these teams fade in the fourth quarter under Jim Harbaugh. Yeah. And I think that's why that Penn State game a couple weeks ago was encouraging. It was, he keeps saying this team doesn't flinch, and that was a perfect example of, they had the strip sack. They held him to a field goal, and Cade McNamara got in there very steely, and, he went in and led a touchdown drive with Eric All. And that was, I think if you're a Michigan fan, that was probably refreshing to see, because I think it was going to be a little bit more of a, same old Wolverines feel here. And they pulled it out. And this does seem like a team that finishes. And can they finish against Ohio State? We'll find out. But I do think that's been lacking in the Harbaugh tenure. And it's surprising me because, he focuses on toughness all the time and just working everybody. And then they would just sort of fade in November and obviously in the bowl game. So that has to change if this is going to be a successful program.
That's a heck of a call, because you watch that Nebraska game and you see where they were able to come back in the end. Like in those moments with Harbaugh, you're like, here we go again. This is not a game that Harbaugh typically can finish and win in the fourth quarter, but he gets the win. But then he goes up to East Lansing, and you see that game escape him from the end of the second quarter to the third to the fourth. It escapes him, and you're like, oh, here we go again. But then to your point, he's finished the game after that too. So a little encouraging going into the Ohio State game.
I think so, and I think the one other thing too, Braylon, is this team also lacked some confidence in previous years. And I haven't been around a Michigan team in a while that has this. They're exuding so much confidence. And Cade McNamara, a guy who's taken a lot of arrows this season, knows that people want to see J.J. McCarthy out there. I thought he's handled that really well, and he just comes off as this supremely confident leader. And you need that on offense. You need your quarterback to feel that way. And if, I got this. And You've got him on that side. You've got Aiden Hutchinson on the defensive side. And you got guys like Dax Hill, too. Maybe not as boisterous and loud as Aiden Hutchinson, but a really good leader. And Brad Hawkins as well back there. So, they're confident. And that's all you can ask for from a team going into an Ohio State game where they're going to be substantial underdogs.
Angelique, I want to ask you about that Eric All play that we talked against Penn State. He said they worked 3 years. They practiced that play. Cade McNamara said that. And then last week, they pull off that dipsy doodle play that they did, and they did it against Maryland. I'm saying, why the hell not save those plays for this Saturday? Do you expect anything different, anything out of the ordinary in this game? Do you expect to see all 3 running backs in the game, Coram, Haskins, and Edwards? Do you see something like that?
Well, I think it was not a bad thing, Tom. I think it gives Ohio State a lot of things to think about. Yeah. They do have options, and I think you need to get plays like that game tested too. I mean, you can get the reps in practice, and it works. But you're in, and it was Maryland, so it wasn't an enormous challenge in terms of an opponent. But in terms of wrinkles, yeah, I think so, and I think that I'm thinking more on the defensive side. I think Mike McDonald. He's got a lot of disguises for this defense. They've changed. They've really responded to the problems they had at Michigan State, and they've really come a long way since then. It doesn't seem that long ago. It really wasn't, 4 weeks ago now. But I think he's a guy that's going to have some wrinkles. And the one thing I keep coming back to, Michigan's special teams have been really, really good this year and very consistent in terms of Jake Moody and Brad Robbins, but in the return game. And I think that could be also a factor on Saturday in the plus column for Michigan, because, not that Ohio State's lacking there. They've got an excellent punter, but I think this is an area, kicker. Their punter has barely been used, right? And, I think that's an area where Michigan could, they could get some good field position out of that.
Before we get you out of here, I got to ask you 2 questions.
Well, we know you're busy.
Because we know you're busy. I appreciate you. I heard about the 1, the 2. We make 3, and you got a 4 o'clock, so I really appreciate you. 2 things. 1, who has a standout game for the Michigan Wolverines? 1, and then 2, prediction of the score, of course.
Well, I keep going back to, I mentioned Andrell Anthony, but I think he's a guy who could be a difference maker. But Hassan Haskins, Braylon, has just been so consistent. He's been the workhorse. Blake Coram goes out for pretty much the last 3 games, and he's been there. And we've all seen him carrying piles of players with him, and he keeps getting extra yardage. I think he's going to have a big game. I think they need the running game to really click and to win that time of possession and keep Stroud off the field. And the Detroit News did our little TV show on Tuesday, and I didn't know we were doing predictions, and 42-35 came out of my mouth. I don't know why.
Oh, wow.
And that's a little – I don't know. That's
the same thing I said yesterday.
You did.
That's the same exact thing I said. I said 42-30. I said 42-34.
Wow. So then we are right, Braylon.
Great minds.
That's it.
I think my breakout player is going to be Dax Hill, just from the standpoint, he's a guy that could slip into the first round. The way I've watched him progress from start to finish this season, and he's going to have to cover those guys. And because they have so many weapons at the wide receiver position, he's not going to match up just on one guy. He's going to be on Olave. He's going to be in Njigba. He's going to be on Wilson. So that's the guy I think that could really come out and have a surprise party on Saturday.
And the other guy I was thinking too, Braylon, I'm sorry, I know Matt wants to talk, but I thought before the season someone had said, who do you think is going to lead the team in interceptions? And I thought DJ Turner would have a big season, and he's really come on this last month, and obviously had the pick 6 last week. I think he's another guy, Dax and DJ Turner. They'll be tested, and I think that those guys are definitely up for it.
Angelique, thanks so much for coming on. Happy Thanksgiving to you and your family. Give Mom a hug for us, please, and save me some spanakopita, please.
Absolutely, always. Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Thanks for having me.
Angelique Chengelis, Detroit News. For you can call her a beat writer, but she's more than that. She is a top reporter for the Detroit News, covering the Michigan Wolverines. Thank you very much, Angel.
Yeah, we got to get to a commercial. We got to get back on track. We can break down some of what Angelique was talking about. Also, some vandalism happened and occurred up in Ann Arbor, so we'll get to that too. I'm Braylon. He's Stick, and this is the Woodward Sports Network. Bottom line.
Fellas, football season is here. It's time to make your grooming experience easy like Sunday morning. Get to Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Walk in, relax, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Get to Lady Jane's, open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Here it is. Here it is. Finally, I'm showing you guys a bottle because the guys, you always see the still picture. This is the live bottle. Spin it around. Look at it. You know what this is? This is Gypsy Vodka. Gluten-free vodka. Corn distilled 6 times. Infused with artisanal spring water. All of that. 50 formulas were tested to create what you see in front of me, which is Gypsy Vodka. Adam and Mike, shout out to you. Hey, check this out. Neighborhood liquor stores ask for Gypsy Vodka. But if you drink responsibly.
Welcome back to The Bottom Line. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Armani today. Braylon Edwards is here for the big Michigan-Ohio State weekend ahead of us. And then we got the big Lions game tomorrow. Tom, Maz away. Maz, we're getting people in the chat asking for your flying lion.
Oh, man, I know. All right, you want the lion? I'll give you the lion.
Can we get the flying lion?
Can we get the flying lion?
Right into the camera. Ah, get him.
Yes. That is amazing.
And for everybody listening on the radio right now, make sure you go watch this on YouTube because you got to see Maz do the flying lion.
Yesterday we had our meeting. We had a little staff meeting yesterday. And what do I see? Someone puts up me doing the lion. Everyone, of course, just pile on, keep laughing at me. That's fine.
We're laughing with you,
Maz.
Maz.
With me.
With
Okay.
you.
Got it.
You knew you were entertaining us when you did that.
Hey, back in the day, the Silverdome day, there actually was.
Oh yeah,
the flying lion.
It would drop T-shirts and
It
stuff.
would drop
right?
T-shirts,
Yep.
but it would mainly just crash into things.
Yes.
I remember one year it crashed into the press box and it just stood there. And it took him like a half an hour to pull the damn thing down. But I used to love that. And, of course, the flushing of the toilet, that sounded like a lion. It always sounded like you just flushed the toilets at the Silverdome. You hear that at Penn State now. Their Nittany lion sounds like our old lion at the Silverdome.
I was going to say they flushed the troughs.
Yeah,
like,
they
no way.
flushed the troughs.
The troughs.
Love that
That's where
Silverdome.
boys became men, by the way, at the Silverdome trough.
All
Like,
peeing together like just in unity.
first time you step up there as a
I
6-year-old
hated
boy
that
and
as
you
a
look
kid.
down and you just see a bunch of grown men. You're like, what is going on here?
It's like, Dad, I don't ever want to go in there again.
Yeah, I'll hold it. I'll hold it.
Tiger Stadium had one of those suckers too.
Did they have a trough at Tiger Stadium?
Yeah,
I
they
don't
sure
remember.
100%. Heck
They
yeah.
sure did.
I just remember it at Silverdome, man.
Oh, no, they had it.
Yeah.
I think it was born at the Tiger Stadium.
Okay, that was terrifying at the Silverdome. Terrifying.
Angelique comes on, man. She gives us always some good takes, some good stuff, and you can, live by what she says, especially as it relates to the University of Michigan. She's so close to the pulse in Ann Arbor and Jim Harbaugh, and she basically has talked about like what we talked about,
right?
Time of possession. Running the ball. Keep C.J. Stroud off the field. Keep those wide receivers. If they're the best in the country, and this is what they do, you keep them off the field. You ice them. Because what happens with wide receivers when they're not on the field, even quarterbacks, you get tight. You get cold. Because when you're warmed up, you got the hamstrings warmed up, the groin is feeling good, and you're loose, and you're mobile, and you're ready, and you're into it. When you start sitting on the sideline and a minute goes by, 5 minutes goes by, it turns into 10 minutes, it turns into 20, 30 minutes, you get cold. And then all of a sudden you go out there and they ask you to run a deep route. They ask you to run a deep post. They're asking you to go in motion, and your muscles can't respond. That's how you help yourself. Time of possession. Keep these guys off the field with the running game of Michigan.
Yeah, I
Weather's
think
supposed to
another
be pretty
big key.
decent.
What's that?
Weather's supposed to be pretty decent, though.
Yeah.
But not even just cold in the sense of the weather, the temperature.
Right.
Cold because the body shuts down. You can be in the gym playing basketball.
Sure.
There's no air in the gym.
No.
But if you're sitting out a couple games and you got beat and you're on that side,
Yeah, you gotta
when you go
wait.
back in there, man, things are tight. You're not as fast. It takes you a little longer to get up the court. So, yeah.
That happens to me
I
a
think
lot.
the key is speeding Stroud up too.
Yeah.
That's a major key to me. Putting pressure on that kid early and often, so that 5-second clock becomes a 3-second clock. And even when he can make the play, he's trying to rush and get it out there because he knows he's going to feel some Aiden Hutchinson if he doesn't. Like those defensive ends to me are the entire game.
Yeah.
If they don't dominate, Michigan can't win. Period.
Yeah, and let's call a spade a spade. Let's not disrespect Ohio State. I think people that may be paying attention to it say, oh, they think they're going to beat Ohio State. What do they think? What are they basing that off of? Listen, we know Ohio State is very good.
Yeah,
this could turn into something ugly quick. Like they're that type of team. You saw what happened with Michigan State. They came in unprepared, and it just started quick. And Michigan State never had a chance to recover.
How the hell did that happen?
Because Michigan State is a team that depends on being able to balance the run and the pass whenever they want to. So when you don't get a chance to get Kenneth Walker going, you're already down 21 in a blink of an eye. Now you make Peyton Thorne become a guy that has to throw the ball down the field. And they know you have to throw the ball down the field. So they no longer have to key on Kenneth Walker. They don't have to waste time with putting 6 and 7 men in that box. They can now play zone on the wide receivers and make it tough for Peyton Thorne. That's what happened with Michigan State. Michigan has to prevent that from happening. You got to prevent that from happening. You got to do what you got to do. Something interesting I hadn't thought about is, what were we complaining that Michigan did on defense with Brown? All they did was what? Man-to-man coverage and blitz. We haven't seen any blitzing this year. That's not McDonald's deal, as well as you don't need to when you have Ojabo and David.
I think they need to this game.
Oh, buddy, is this not the game to bring back a Don Brown type of
But I'm just saying, you better hit those receivers. You better at least hit them. Don't play back. Don't give them 10, 15 yards.
Get in their face.
You gotta get up front. You gotta change what Michigan State did. And I know Michigan State didn't have the talent that Michigan has on defense, but you can't just let them run free. Otherwise, you're over. It's over. They have 3 number 1 picks on that offense.
Remember when Peyton was so well? He's always been good. He's always been great. But remember with the Colts how good Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Stokely, like how good they were. Not to mention Dallas Clark. Not to mention Marcus Pollard, my brother-in-law. You see, I said Marcus Pollard. They were so good at putting up yards, putting up passing yards, receiving yards, even Edgerrin James out of the backfield. Remember how bad the Patriots beat them in the playoffs? I want to say it was 2004 or 3. You know what was said, like how they were able to beat that wide receiver core, how they were able to get it done, and they weren't effective.
They beat them up.
You hit the nail on the head. Ty Law, those defensive backs talked about it. They beat Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne, Dallas Clark, Marcus Pollard, Edgerrin James if he came out of the backfield. They beat him up to the point they got frustrated, they got annoyed, and when individuals get annoyed, they don't play the same because they don't think the same.
And that's why I think you got to do that to Stroud. Because if you screw Stroud up, you're screwing those 3 up. And that's where I think, because, to your point, like go to like Tom Brady when he lost his 2 Super Bowls. What happens? He was under a ton of pressure. Last year, Patrick Mahomes, under a ton of pressure, threw him off his entire game. So
he ran for 400 yards sideways.
Yeah, exactly. But that's what they need to do to Stroud if they want to stay in this game. So that's why I think the defensive ends are to me, the end-all. That's the game within the game.
I'll tell you this, man. After watching that Michigan State game, as I was watching it, I said to myself, there's no way in hell Michigan could play with this team. This is men against the boys. Then I saw Michigan play against Maryland, and I saw them peak. They're peaking.
Before your very eyes.
Yes, they're peaking. So I said, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe they could stay under 10 points and maybe have a chance to win. Then the spread came out, it was 7. I'm like, I thought it was going to be 13. It's climbed up to 9.5, and it might drop down because right now Ohio State's taking money. Michigan money comes in late. Comes in on Friday and Saturday.
Comes in. It's very thought-provoking.
That spread will go back down to 8, maybe 7.5 even. I think Michigan, they have their best chance in 10 years to win a game.
Yeah, you mentioned,
and they're home.
You mentioned Ohio State, great running backs. You mentioned Michigan, great running backs. You mentioned Michigan State, the best running back in the country. Let's talk about good running backs, and let's talk about the guy in the NFL that could be the best running back, including Derrick Henry, if he's healthy. We'll tell you who he is soon, next segment. I'm Braylon, he's Stick. This is the Woodward Sports Network, Bottom Line.
Tony is a third-generation logger that has a simple, practical approach to life and work. That's why his Coast DX342 knife is perfect for him. The stainless steel blade is rust-resistant and made for all-weather use. And the double roll-lock safety ensures that it will never inadvertently close when he doesn't want it to. That's why Coast is trusted tough.
Hey, it's Stick for Guardian Alarm. The holidays are here. You're going to be having lots of people over, lots of gifts in your house. You want to protect all of those things because those are the things that really matter to you, and that's where Guardian Alarm comes in. They will protect you from not only people you don't want in the house, they'll protect you from carbon monoxide, they'll protect you from all the things that you can simply monitor from your app, and it makes it really simple and really easy. They're a local company, been around 100 years, keeping people safe right here in Metro Detroit, and if you want to be a part of this so you can sleep well at night and know that your stuff is protected. All you got to do is call this number, 1-800-STAY-OUT. 1-800-FISH. Stay out.
Enemy Dune.
One more time for everybody in the chat. 1-800-STAY-OUT.
Get away.
Get away. Get out of my house. Even if it's the holidays, get out of my house. No, protect your stuff. Do it with the professionals at Guardian Alarm.
Black and yellow.
Man, you're watching NFL this year. If you are a fantasy sports player, which pretty much everybody in our chat, pretty much everybody here, fantasy sports is the deal. We know about it. Check this out. If you got a guy by the name of Jonathan Taylor, you are kicking some maybe
I have him in all my leagues.
Brush some dirt off your shoulders. Check this out right now. Jonathan Taylor is
1122
yards right now. 13 rushing yards, tied for first. 30 runs of 10 yards or more. The thing that you don't see in that stat is yards per game. He's averaging 165 yards a game, not rushing, 165 total yards a game. Last week he was over 200 yards a game. I'm so excited to see a Wisconsin running back finally have the same level in the NFL of success that they had in college. Because you look at Ron Dane, drafted by the New York Giants, not the same success.
The Great Dane.
You look at Melvin Gordon. Melvin Gordon's anything but almost out the league right now.
He's hanging in there.
Key word, hanging.
Yeah. He had 2 seasons, Melvin Gordon.
2. He's been in the league 7 years now. Monty Ball. Monty Ball was up for the Heisman. Disappeared.
Denver.
And the list, Brandon Calhoun. And the list goes on. So to see a guy that you saw at Wisconsin, who would have broke Ron Dane's all-time rushing record in college if he would have stayed his last year, to see him have this level of success, man, is great to watch.
Yeah, the knock on him coming out, really, the only thing that people could say was he was used too much in college, and they were afraid of the tread that was on the tires.
We all said that as Lion fans. Oh, good, we got Swift. We didn't want to take Jonathan Taylor. He's beat up. He's not going to last long.
Yeah, well, he's lasted long, and I love his straight-up running style. And not only is he big, he's fast. What does he hit, like 22 miles an hour a couple times on breakaways?
Last week.
And to speak to the fantasy football aspect of this, we can't forget his receiving now, too.
Yeah.
Year 1, they weren't really using him. It was more Naheem Hines, Marlon Mack out of the backfield. Now they've totally peeled back completely on Hines, and Taylor is their first, second, and third down back. That's what's really catapulted him into this next level.
Hey, he gets it done. You're talking about the speed thing. Listen, he ran 10.51 fully automatic in high school in the 100-meter dash. Just to put that out in perspective, that's fast. 10.51 will pretty much win every state meet, with the exception of some of the ones like California and Texas. 10.51 is blazing fast, and he was that way in high school. You watch the Under Armour commercials. You see little clips and videos of him in the offseason. He puts in the work in the offseason. He's a short guy, but he's jacked. He's muscular, right spots. He gets it done. He's fast. You see him in and out of tackles. He doesn't get hit a lot.
No.
He doesn't get hit a lot. He knows how to get in and out. He has that wiggle. He also has strength.
He hides.
He's a short guy. He hides. And look at the success that they're having now. Now that they've really let him go, after about the 4th week, they're one of the best teams in the AFC. And you can argue that they've been the best team in the AFC over the past, second because the Chiefs are 4-0. But you can argue that they've been the best team, offense and defense. Defense led by Darius Leonard.
Oh, yeah.
Man, that's your guy.
Yes,
led by Darius Leonard. Him, Carson Wentz. Frank Reich loves Carson Wentz, and he's putting him in right situations. Carson doesn't have to go out there and throw for 400 yards because he has Jonathan Taylor, and they're using them both the right way.
If you haven't seen Hard Knocks in season, it's week 2 with the Colts. It's on HBO Max. Highly recommend it. Frank Reich has got these guys going the right way. They started 0-2, and then they lost 2 tough games to the Titans, 1 in overtime. This team is one of the best teams in football. Fear the horseshoe, man.
Yeah, to me, when you look at the Colts, this is exactly what the Lions should try to emulate. They started with their offensive line because last year they were top 8, top 5 offensive line. This year, once again, then they add their running back. You can bring in a fringe quarterback off free agency and still have him make a difference like you're seeing with Carson Wentz. Teams don't value quarterbacks a lot, so they'll just let them go. You could bring in a guy like Carson Wentz who's better than a game manager, but not quite the superstar that's going to put you over the top. And as long as you got the line and you got the running back to support him, you see what's happening. And that's where I think if the Lions can watch that and understand we're already halfway there with the offensive line and the running back.
They're there.
We just got to add, a wide receiver like a Pittman, and we got to add the defense is another major aspect of this. But if we add those pieces to what we already have, we're not too far off from being like the Colts.
Yeah, 100%. The Colts made the right moves. They read the right people. I think it's taking the time to assess the players. Like taking the time to assess a guy like Frank Reich. Frank Reich knew who Carson Wentz was.
Right.
He knew who he was. So when people gave up on
recruited
Carson.
him.
Exactly. So when people were giving up on him, his injuries, and talking about, oh, it's another Carson Wentz deal. Oh, this is how he is. Oh, he's a bust. Frank Reich was able to say, no, I know this guy. So a lot of times it's about scouting guys and knowing guys that you already have and know. Like I went to the New York Jets. You know why that deal went through? It's because I played against Rex Ryan when he was the defensive coordinator for Baltimore for 5 years. So Rex saw me for 5 years and was able to say, hey, you know what?
Go get that guy.
Something's going on in Cleveland. That guy's a lot better than that. Let's bring him in. I think he'll fit our system just fine. And it ended up working. So, like, if you pay attention, like, that's what Dan Campbell, I'm hoping they done. He was a player. He's followed the game. He's now a coach. He knows a lot of guys. He's in it with a lot of guys. I guarantee you there's a lot of guys on he and Brad Holmes' radar. Brad Holmes is coming from L.A. Guys that had some success out there with the Rams. I guarantee you there are a lot of guys on their radar that they'll be trying to make moves for in this offseason coming up.
Robert Woods may be one of them.
It's not a bad one at all.
Now that Odell is there.
But then he's just coming off injury, though. He tore his ACL. That's tough. You never want to pick a guy up right after ACL.
I know, but
Allen Robinson's a free agent next year. That's somebody that we could look at.
And he's from here.
He's been underused his whole career.
He's had the worst quarterback play, I think, of any premier wide receiver ever.
What's he?
I mean, Braylon, not to insult everybody you've played with, but you know what the hell Allen Robinson's gone through in his career. And so I don't want to put you in those awkward situations, but
it's not awkward. It's the truth.
Okay.
Stats tell you. The gameplay tells you. So I've definitely been in a situation. I understand Allen Robinson. You want to get guys like that before it gets too late.
Right.
You want to get
and
guys,
he's still young. He's like 26.
Exactly. And that's peak time for a wide receiver. Peak time for a wide receiver is going to be that 26 to 30. Like, those are peak hours for a wide receiver. Peak time for so you can get that. But
he's a free agent at the end of this year, so hopefully we can make that happen.
Yeah, 100%. Maz, any more thoughts on the NFL, or is it time to go back to college and start picking some playoffs?
No, we're going to do that. But earlier today, and it happened last night, late at night, after midnight, in Minnesota, Everson Griffin, who played here last year, looks like he's going through some mental issues. This is what happened last night. You're going to see this. Everson Griffin put this out on his Instagram last night. Check this out.
Yo, I'm in my house. He's trying to pop me. I still got clips left. This is my gun, 45 Wilson Combat, registered to me. I bought all my bullets around town. Dalvin Cook helped me purchase this gun. It all belongs to me, and they are registered to me. So I know exactly where I bought them. I got the card I have them on. I have everything, So
that's what happened last night. So a lot of his teammates saw that. They reached out. Of course, the Vikings saw it. They put out a statement today. Let's put that up there, Alex.
Yeah, we'll put it up there when Alex gets it. The one thing about this is, and I hope everything, I hope everything is going right with him. I hope in terms of the people coming around him, his family, in terms of the Vikings who have definitely reached out to him. It's just tough to watch. And this has happened before with Everson Griffin. That's actually why he left the Vikings. He had a mental breakdown in public. They supported him throughout the process. They did a great job as an organization, but he ended up leaving, signed with the Lions last year. It's just tough. Like, guys are going through things with mental health, and sometimes it's different levels of things. And the reason why I said, you look at Simone Biles. So many people got mad at Simone Biles for the Olympics because you couldn't see it, because she took the time to address it, because she probably has been doing therapy before she actually announced it and she left the Olympics. You look at Calvin Ridley. He leaves the Atlanta Falcons. He didn't play last week or 2 weeks. He's addressing his issues of mental health. People are going through things. But when you see it as that way, as a spectator or looking in from the outside, you're like, what's wrong? There's nothing wrong with you. But then as it gets not addressed, as it goes further down the spectrum, you get to the level like Everson Griffin, and now you're watching that, and you're like, oh, man, this guy is crazy. No, this guy is not crazy. This guy is going through something. He's going through things, and that's tough. And that's why when you see a Simone Biles, you see a Calvin Ridley, like, show the empathy of them for addressing it early, because it could end up getting like Everson Griffin and what he is going through. So, we really hope we're reaching out to him and his family. Actually, we have the Vikings letter Official statement from the Vikings. Viking representatives and the team's mental health professionals have been on site at Everson Griffin's home since early this morning and are cooperating with law enforcement. Our only concern at this time is the safety and well-being of Everson and his family. We will have further a further comment about it at the appropriate time.
Yeah, when I first saw that video, like, I thought he was kind of like acting a skit, you know? Like, at first I thought it was just an acting thing.
Yeah.
But then you could see, like, if you looked into his eyes, you could see that
gone.
it was off. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like, you know, when you're looking at someone, you're like, wait a minute,
They're not there.
this isn't right. And so that video really started to scare the hell out of me.
Yeah,
it's
a spooky video.
Anybody that's alone with a gun in that mindset are capable of doing horrendous things. Not saying that he specifically would, but he's capable of that. You know, if I'm Delvin Cook, though, I'm like, what? Why are you bringing my name up in this? Because now Delvin Cook's going to be asked about it. You know, did he help him get that gun? Which, if he did, that's not illegal. But you got to understand your homie's condition too. Like, I'm not. If I know my man's not having a good time, I'm not taking him out to buy a gun in that specific moment.
100%.
So. It's one of those things that it's a shocking video, and like at first it was like, oh, this is weird. Then it's like, oh my god, this is scary.
Yeah,
I was scared.
Yeah, I mean, people go through things, and you have to have empathy. You have to be empathetic. And luckily, nothing happened in that video. When you watch that video, hopefully that's a legal gun. He was at his house. He didn't hurt anybody. But to your point, you definitely knew he was off. First thing I noticed was the ashiness of his lips. You can tell usually what happens when you take drugs, you do things, it dehydrates the body.
Okay.
So as soon as you saw the lips being ashy, you're like, his body's dehydrated. What makes your body hydrated? Well, drugs and substances. But yeah, once again, man, we appreciate the Minnesota Vikings for being there, being on site, and doing for the second time, helping Everson Griffin. So, man, we hope they're able to get that family and get those things back in order. But let's get back to some lighthearted stuff. Let's get away from that.
Yeah, you want to get into some picks?
I do, man. It's time to pick some stuff.
All right, let's get into some picks coming up next right here on the Woodward Sports Network. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Armani. That is Braylon Edwards. This is The Bottom Line. We'll be
Woodward
right
Sports
back
Network.
with our picks, baby.
Boom.
Hi, I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. With mortgage interest rates unbelievably low, the stakes to find your new home have never been higher. And that's why Hall Financial's exclusive realtor network allows us to connect you with a top-rated realtor in your area, making sure you take on the housing market and win. Hall Financial has earned over 4,000 five-star reviews because of our technology and our commitment to closing your loan fast. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us online at callhallfirst.com.
Hey, our people at Les Stanford, if you got a lease right now and you want to get out of it, Les Stanford is your authorized lease return center. They're going to give you the top dollar for that lease and make sure you get into another car if you want one, or if you're looking at buying a car, you can just go on there, buy one flat out, or if you're looking to sell a car, they're buying them too. So Les Stanford, if you're looking to upgrade your ride, that is the place you need to go. Just give them a call, 313-565-6000, and find new roads with our friends at Les Stanford, and they are the ones that are bringing us our picks. So let's do this. The Bottom Line live on the Woodward Sports Network and the Roar, and make sure you download our app, which is available for Google and Apple Play stores. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Armani. That is Braylon Edwards.
Be easy.
We have Maz up here, and let's get into it. Do you want to go college pick 'em, or you want to go pro pick 'em first?
Let's go right from the top here. Let's start on our Thanksgiving Day games. Take it right at the top.
How you going to do that to me, man? Right off the bat, I got to pick the Lions?
You can go in reverse order if it make you feel better.
How about you call whatever game you want out right now?
Let's do it. Chicago Bears versus the Lions. The Bears or the Lions are +3 in this game. Obviously, it's at home. Quarterbacks have kind of been announced. We're not 100% sure it's Goff. We're 60% that he's 50-50, according to Dan Campbell. I'm taking the Lions, man. I have to take
There you
I
go.
want a win, and I'm going to start turning into a petulant child until they get one, just screaming every time I'm on. I want to win.
Well, with that being said, I'm glad that you're just filling in today. I'm going to go. You know what's crazy is I picked the Lions over Green Bay when we first were doing it, and everybody thought it was crazy. And you look, they were up at halftime, and then they lost. But I also picked the Lions against I picked them last week against the Browns.
You did.
They had a chance. You know,
They covered.
They covered.
So they're getting closer and closer. So you know what? What the hell? I'm going to join Stick. I'm going to take the Lions. I'm taking the Lions this Sunday.
Hey,
Tomorrow's
the
Thursday.
Bears have lost 5 in a row. That's the longest losing streak in the NFL. And the Lions are the only winless team. This is the national game tomorrow. It's our game. It's our Super Bowl.
Backup quarterback.
The Lions haven't won in quite a number of years. Why not? Tomorrow. The spread is 3. Why not a Lions win tomorrow? I'm picking them. I'm going with my Honolulu blue and silver.
Ooh, the clean sweep, baby.
I'm bringing them.
There we
Who
go.
the Bears, really?
Oh,
Come on.
man. The after party at the Brass Rail is going to be amazing if they win. I cannot wait for that.
Here's a good one.
At the 2-minute warning.
Yes.
Here's a good one, and I know what Maz is going to say because I just can't wait to hear it. Raiders and Cowboys. Who you taking, Maz?
Oh, mama. Oh, mama. Cowboys have been here as well on Thanksgiving Day. The second longest streak, of course, that having games, hosting games on Thanksgiving. They got it in the 60s. I'm happy that Dallas always has a home game as well. The Raiders, they've lost 3 in a row. Dallas was embarrassed a couple of weeks ago. Last week was the week that they just got, Dak Prescott, man. He just did not look the part last week. They're down CeeDee Lamb. He's got a concussion. He might play. And then COVID hit Amari Cooper. He's out.
Who's not vaccinated, by the way.
He is out. So he's done. So the Cowboys have got to rely on their backups and Ezekiel Elliott against the Raiders. Raiders really need this game. I'm going to take the Raiders. The Raiders and the points in this one. I'm taking Oakland and Vegas and the points.
Just win, baby.
Just win.
I'm taking the Las Vegas Raiders, and this is why. When the Cowboys, who I picked, keep in mind, I said the Cowboys are our Super Bowl team. I said the Cowboys and the Chiefs. So I'm doing all right with that. But when I watched them last week, and when you watch the losses that they have, when they're not perfectly together as a well-oiled machine, they don't look good. When Amari Cooper wasn't there, even before CeeDee Lamb got hurt, no Amari Cooper, it looked off. Like they looked like they couldn't get open. They didn't have to double cover. Like when you have Amari Cooper out there, you can't double coverage CeeDee Lamb. You can't double coverage Amari Cooper. You can't double coverage Michael Gallup. But when they didn't have him, they didn't look really good at all. They played that man up and it wasn't good. Ezekiel Elliott got hurt. Messed his ankle up. He wasn't the same. Tyron Smith didn't play. Got some guys that are banged up.
They need him.
Yeah, 100%.
They need him.
They don't look good when everybody's not there, so I'm going with the Raiders.
So I guess I'm the only one taking the Cowboys, and I hate the Cowboys, but the way the Raiders have been falling apart, I mean, their season has just been tough altogether. Losing a head coach, no matter what the reason is, like getting rid of a head coach is tough, and then, obviously Ruggs, all that scenario. And I think that's finally catching up to them. They were able to survive it for a little bit. And I don't mind Pollard if Ezekiel's hurt. I think he's probably the best number 2 running back in the league. And this is a get-right game. This is the get-right game for Dallas. Dak's going to come back, throw at least 4 touchdowns. Dallas in a runaway.
So I should start him on my fantasy team?
I would, yeah.
I got Josh Allen or Zeke or Dak.
Well, Josh Allen.
Yeah?
Yeah, Josh Allen, he was the number 1 overall fantasy player last year, and I think he's right up there again this year.
His game is next.
Yeah, all right. Well, let's move on to that one. Bills at Saints. Saints plus 5.5. Who you taking, Maz?
That's the night game. Bills were embarrassed last week by the Colts. Absolutely embarrassed at home. Bills Mafia was beside themselves.
And lost 2 of the last 3. 2 of the last 3. They haven't looked the same. Josh Allen has now fallen out as the MVP leader in Canada. So it's going to be interesting. What do you think?
Saints are a home 5.5 underdog.
Yep.
So they're playing this game at the Superdome. I got to take the Bills to punch the Saints in the mouth. I don't believe in the Saints this year. I'm not sure if
You
Alvin
don't believe
Kamara.
in Trevor Siemian?
Yeah, Trevor Siemian. He did good for you last week.
Oh, he's great. Yeah,
he did well for you.
It's that offense. You can plug
Sean
any
Payton.
quarterback in that offense. They're going to get 250 and a couple touches.
Sean Payton is amazing. He's a quarterback whisperer.
Yeah.
Is Alvin Kamara going to play? Not sure.
He's questionable.
He's questionable.
Tight ends out. They're thinking about throwing in Taysom Hill at tight end. So
yeah, he just got another 4-year deal. What has that guy done to get all this money? By the way,
he's got some pictures on Sean Payton.
He has to.
I saw the best tweet about it. Somebody said Taysom Hill is an NFT that only one guy values, and that guy is Sean Payton.
Unbelievable.
That's it.
I see
funny.
nothing in Taysom
That's
Hill.
funny.
Maybe that's just me. Give me the Bills to destroy the Saints. Mike Tirico doing the game, by the way.
Yeah, I'm taking the Bills too. Not because they have to get on track, but they're still a really good football team. They just stubbed their toe a couple times and second guessing and outthinking themselves. And what better to get back on track against a team that has no quarterback? Well, Trevor Siemian played okay, excuse me, but like I said, has no quarterback. Taysom Hill might play tight end for you. Alvin Kamara may not play. Still too much like disorganization down there in New Orleans at the Caesars Arena. Excuse me, it's called Caesars Dome now.
Yeah.
But so I'm taking the Bills. Bills Mafia.
Yeah, that's 3 for 3. Bills all day. They're just a better team, period. Offense, defense, and then
They got to bounce back.
And then if you want to go to a tiebreaker, if you think they're even, go to the quarterbacks. You're talking Josh Allen versus Trevor Siemian.
Yeah.
Bills.
Let's get to college. Just run through these one real quick so we stay on track.
This is a Thanksgiving night game.
Mississippi Ole Miss.
Yep.
Thanksgiving night, 8 o'clock. What you got, Maz?
Ole Miss at Mississippi State. Mississippi State, what number are they? I think they're 23.
Mississippi State's
25.
They're 25. Ole Miss is 12. Last week, Utah was 23, and they played Oregon, who was 3. And who was favored in that game? Utah. Who's favored in this game? Mississippi State.
Oh,
give me the Bulldogs to knock off the Rebels.
Ole Miss is 10 actually in college football playoffs. They're 10.
Yep, I'm taking Mississippi State.
Yeah, last week I think everybody learned a lot from Vegas. They made 2 incredibly right calls that I was shocked by. The Michigan State line being down by 19. I was like, that's insulting. No way Michigan State's going to lose by that much.
They didn't.
Well,
yeah, they didn't. They almost lost by 60.
They
and
coulda.
then, like you said, the Oregon game, it made no sense to me that a top 5 team was the underdog against the number 23 team. So Vegas, you're smarter than me. I'm going with Vegas. I'm taking Mississippi State.
Yeah, I didn't take the Cowboys. I didn't take the Cowboys. The Cowboys have Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott played at what school? So if I can't pick Dak Prescott, I'm not picking Mississippi State either. So I'm going to go ahead and take Ole Miss.
The Rebels. You got the Rebels.
That was supposed to come out smooth. Like in my head, it was a smooth flow. Like when I got to it, I was like, "Well, Dak put."
Hey.
I got.
Have you been hitting that Gypsy Vodka?
Hey, I'm trying to tell you, it's pretty good. No, you can see these everything.
No, they're all filled.
Yeah, we got 10 minutes before we pop
They're
those
all
open.
filled.
But what if this game was switched? What if it was at Ole Miss?
I'm still taking Ole Miss.
Well, it depends on the spread. I'm betting on Vegas here.
Okay.
I'm betting on Vegas. Let's go to the Sparties here.
Sparties and Penn State. I'm taking.
Spartans are underdog at home by 1. James Franklin just got a new deal. This is the battle of the new deals. James Franklin against Mel Tucker.
Mel Tucker
I was about to say
signs.
one, and that's an interesting thing. Like you never see deals. First of all, this would be the highest contract ever. And it's just still sitting on the table. Something's off about that.
Yeah,
but
with you.
We'll find out and inform you guys about it. I'm taking the Spartans. I don't think it happens 2 weeks in a row. James Franklin and his team has looked off kilter all year. They've had some moments. They flashed a moment against Ohio State. They flashed some moments against Michigan. But as a whole, they just haven't played consistent ball. Sean Clifford, since he's been back, has really been off wide receiver. Jahan. I thought he was going to be the guy. Jahan Dotson was the best receiver to me coming in. They haven't been able to get him involved. So I'm taking Michigan State and Mel Tucker.
Yeah. Hey, keep chopping, baby. And this is another moment to keep chopping. And I got Michigan State in this game. But honestly, if Michigan State loses this game, we got to reevaluate almost their entire season. Because if it isn't for that comeback win against Michigan, then you have the loss to Purdue, the blowout to Ohio State, and a loss to Penn State.
That's interesting.
That's not a great season.
That's interesting.
If it isn't for that Michigan win, that's not a great season.
5-point win at Indiana?
Yeah. That's like they're tilting right now on being good. Not great, being good.
Okay.
And if they lose this game, I think they fall below that Mendoza line. So State has to win. You got to get Kenneth Walker at least back in the Heisman candidate. Can we get the guy 30 carries instead of 6?
Hey, their offensive line
their
offensive line is not the same as it was against Michigan. They're beat up. Naylor, is he going to be playing? Alex, you know more about this than us. Who's playing in this game and who's not?
If I were to guess, Naylor is not playing. Walker is also hurt. I don't think he's going to get 30 carries in this one. I put him in like that 10 to 12 carry range.
He's been beaten.
Then State's going to lose.
He's been beaten.
State's going to lose then.
I'm still going with the Spartans. I see 10 wins are in front of them. Mel Tucker is saying, what did you do last Saturday? You guys didn't even show up. You're going to play hard this game. I think they defend the woodshed.
Take them to the deep end.
They win. I don't care how they win, but they win.
Let's say the Michigan and Ohio State prediction, because we got to get to commercial. And as soon as we come back, your favorite segment, Bottom Line Videos of the Day with Maz. This is Braylon, that's Stick. This is Woodward Sports Network, The Bottom Line.
I'm looking to bring on another HVAC tech right now.
We are recruiting 5 to 10 techs a month.
We're looking to grow and expand. Every new tech we hire is from Northwestern Tech.
The hands-on training is fantastic.
They're always my first call.
We love hiring Northwestern Tech grads.
They come out trained and ready to work.
Our program is only 10.5 months, and our next classes are starting soon. So why wait?
I'm looking to hire
Hire
a graduate
of Northwestern Tech.
Coming
Northwestern
back.
Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Northwestern Tech.
Welcome back to the Woodward Sports Network. This is The Bottom Line. My name is Stick, filling in for Ryan Armani. He's getting ready for Thanksgiving. We got my man Braylon Edwards up here. And then, of course, Tom Mazaway in the big comfy chair, Alex Mayer, and my man Fish. So we did the picks, but the big game that everybody's buzzing about, the top 5 matchup in all of the NCAA is happening on Saturday. And let's do it now. I mean, we're going to be doing the pregame too, so I don't want to give away too much, but let's do it. Ohio State at Michigan. Michigan by 8. Underdog by 8.
Let's bump it up. It's 9.5 right now.
Already?
It's 9.5.
Since the time we printed the prep?
Since the time I did the prep. Let me double check
What
that.
happened?
You guys talk while I double check it.
Well, it was just I want to know why it changed. There's got to be an injury or something going on. Like, Vegas finds out these weird things like, hey, this guy's girlfriend was cheating on him, so he's in a bad mood, so he's not going to have a good game.
It's real stuff.
It's real. These are kids.
Like the detectives, the people that they have doing spy work on these games and these individuals and these entities is a great thing because they find out stuff that definitely will affect the game.
It's down at 8.5 now.
Oh, there we go.
It was 9.5 last night.
Okay.
It's 8.5 now. It started at 7.5.
So maybe the Ohio State kid got caught cheating with his sister, and there you go. It's all
over
taking
under
them down.
64.5. So it gives you kind of a number. So maybe you could.
I already guessed mine.
I
said 42-35.
So
I
you
said
like
yesterday,
the over?
I said again. Yeah, I'm taking over.
42-35. Wow. Maz, you go.
Like I said, I didn't think anyone could beat Ohio State. I want Michigan to win. I just don't think they can do it. I think they'll stay close. I say Buckeyes 38, Michigan 34.
Okay.
All right.
If I'm picking with my heart, I'm going to go with Michigan, but I got like a 35-32 win, like a last-second field goal or something like that. It's got to be a close game. Michigan's not going to blow out this game. So it's either going to be close or an Ohio State blowout. No in between.
All right, appreciate it. Well, there you heard. You got 2 Michigans. You got Ohio State. Maz, take us out here, buddy.
All right, let's start you off. Our videos of the day. Let's take you back to a phenomenal day. This was the day after Thanksgiving. Brent Musburger on the call. It's the miracle. It's the Flutie miracle.
Flutie flushed. Throws it down.
Here comes Phelan.
Caught by Boston College. I don't believe it. It's a touchdown. The Eagles win it.
Gerald Phelan.
Was that Gus Johnson on the call?
That's my man. That's my man who's now the voice of the Raiders. That's Brent Musburger. Do you remember that game?
I do remember
in
that
84?
game. I remember Flutie as a pro too. Like he was a problem. He was just annoying. He was like a gnat, just
went
running
to Canada,
around all the time. Yep.
Played the CFL. Then he went to the USFL, played with the New Jersey Generals. Then they bring him over.
Chicago Bears, baby.
Bears, and they play him in a playoff game. They pick him up literally off of waivers. And Mike Ditka starts him in a playoff game. And
I love hearing Mongo talk about that.
Isn't that
Mongo
something?
hated that.
They hated
he
that.
said, who in the hell is this Doug Flutie guy?
They called him a midget. I mean, what is this midget doing playing football here on our team?
Wasn't he the last NFL player to do the drop kick field goal
Yes,
too?
he did it when he was in San Diego.
Yep.
I remember that.
He played with the Patriots, the Bills. He
San Diego.
made his rounds, man. And you know what he is? He is a Batman freak. He loves Batman. Looks like him. He has a Batmobile. He owns a Batmobile. Doug Flutie. I love Doug Flutie.
All those Flutie Flakes finally paid for that
Flutie
Batmobile.
Flakes at home still.
Do you still have Flutie
I still
Flakes?
have it. I have the box.
Well, that makes sense because he's definitely a utility type of player when he was in the NFL. So he had a lot of tricks up his sleeve or in his belt, I should say.
I see what you
saw
did there.
what I did.
His utility belt. I like that.
There
This
you
one's
go.
for Braylon. He was too young. I don't even think you weren't born yet. But it's Bob Ufer.
I know who Jesus was. I wasn't born then.
1973, those dastardly Buckeyes. How dare they do this at the Big House?
Here they come. Hare, Middleton, and the Buckeyes. Boy, look at Hicks. He's an acting captain today. Hicks is the acting captain, John Hicks. And they're tearing down Michigan's coveted M-Club banner. They will meet a dastardly fate here for that. There isn't a Michigan man in the stadium who wouldn't like to go out and scalp those Buckeyes right
The
now.
disrespect.
They have the audacity.
Listen to this guy.
To tear down the coveted M. That Michigan's going to run out from under, but the M men will prevail because they're getting the banner back
Look.
up again. And
The unmagetted
Here they
dog.
come.
Take it away, 105,000 fans.
Don't you wish the game was like this still?
Look at Jim Mandich in there.
He caught a Super Bowl touchdown
Oh, yeah,
from
100%
Brian
with
Greasy.
Miami.
Bob Greasy, excuse
Bob
me.
Greasy.
His dad. Look at that.
Look at that.
Man.
You saw what you saw there? They said, the hell with what they want to do. They want to knock our banner down. You know what? We'll still do our same thing, our same celebration right over here on their sideline and get it going. Man, you got to love that, man. Maz, we got time for one more.
Well, we're going to do, let's see. All right, I was going to do Hard Knocks, but I'll skip that one for now.
Give me something good, buddy.
I want to give you the best thing that happened last night. And it's my favorite guy. And I know he's all your favorite guy, too.
Awesome.
Dickie V fighting cancer. And it could have been a lot worse. If you heard his story last night, it was amazing. It could have been, he thought he had bile duct cancer. The doctors said, hey, Dickie, it's not looking good. They go in, they give him the MRI finally. They call him like in the middle of the night and they say, hey, we might be wrong. It might just be a different type of cancer, lymphoma, and it's curable. The next morning they call him and say, you're a PT player, PT peer. It's not bile duct cancer. He comes back last night with Dave O'Brien to do the Gonzaga-UCLA game. Check out Dickie V last night on ESPN.
Made it out to Las Vegas for a game that I know you had circled for a long, long time. Is just awesome. Great to see you.
It's great being here, Dave. I didn't want to cry. I can't believe I'm sitting here. It's really a big thrill for me. I want to thank all you people. Sent me so many great messages. ESPN, Jimmy Pitaro, all my buddies at ESPN. I want to thank certainly my family and all the fans. You've been unbelievable.
You are a PT peer, Dickie V. You're awesome, baby, with a capital A. We love you.
It literally brought a tear to my eye last night. As you guys know, my dad battled cancer for 8 months before losing his battle, and like what those people go through, the mindset, and like
It's unbelievable, man.
It's literally life crushing to watch.
You don't
want to
wish it on your worst enemy.
So for him to like be able to come back and do his favorite thing in life, that's perfect.
And he's our favorite, man. I love when he's at
University
a game.
of Detroit.
He's 80.
Pistons coach.
He's 80 years old.
Hey, Dickie V, we just want to let you know here from the bottom line, we appreciate you. In fact, we're thankful for you. As always, we're thankful to our fans. We're thankful for you guys helping us build this brand. Thankful for Chad for giving us the show.
Thanks, Chad.
Stick, Joey, man, appreciate you guys.
Ryan.
Maz, appreciate you, buddy. Love you.
Love you,
Fish,
man.
Alex, happy Thanksgiving to you guys, and happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there. I'm Braylon Edwards. This is Stick. This is the bottom line, Woodward Sports Network.
Happy Thanksgiving,
Go
folks.
Lions.
There we go.
Walker looks for the wall.